What's going on, everybody? Appreciate everybody being here. All of you guys that are here. See you guys in the chat. Everybody that has been that is watching. Sorry, let me go back to my screen, my solo screen. I'll never do this, so it's gonna be weird. There we go. Anyway, appreciate all you guys being here. Appreciate everybody that I see in the chat already. Kenny, yes, saw you first in the chat, and I see last of my kin. See you in here, bro. I am nobody. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate everybody being here. Ant-Man 1991, appreciate you, bro. Official EMG, appreciate you being here. Ashra, what's up? Yes, it is just myself tonight. The other guys, Q had, I don't know what Q had, to be honest. I don't know. Trey, I also don't know. But I do know Kellen. Kellen, if we could get some prayers from the chat and prayers sent to Kellen. He's having some personal issues right now and is dealing with things with family in the hospital. I don't know, so I'm going to leave it there. But if we could just get some prayers for Kellen, and if you guys could send some good vibes his way, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. But yeah, it's just myself tonight. So I guess I'll ask myself, Darius, how was your day? And my day, hold on, I'm sorry. I let my cats come in here. I don't know why. Stop. No. 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 Come here. Come here. Come here. Alright, sorry. But, like I said, yeah, it's just myself, so I guess I'd ask myself the question, Darius, how was your day? My day was another work day. I hate my job and stuff, and I don't want to be there, so yeah, it was another day for me. But we do have things that I want to talk to you guys about today. Obviously, like I said, one of the things that we'll talk about today is going to be the Squadron Supreme being rumored to be back in the MCU. If you guys remember back when they were first rumored, it was a couple months ago now. It's been a couple months since then, but they were first rumored to be showing up in Loki Season 2. I don't know if that rumor is still substantial or not, but they were rumored to show up in Loki Season 2. But it looks like they are rumored to appear in an upcoming MCU project that could possibly still be Loki Season 2, but it looks like they're also rumored to be showing up in possibly their own project. Get off of me. No. And then the next thing that we're going to talk about is something that we've all been speculating, especially for those of us that talk recast and those of us that have seen Wakanda Forever and all the emphasis that has been put on Namor, which I don't think is bad for the Hispanic community and representation and everything like that. I love that. I love any form of representation for them, and I love any form of representation, period. So that's really good for them. But this is something we've been suspecting, is that Namor is going to be possibly getting his own type of franchise within the MCU, like the Black Panther franchise or like the Iron Man franchise, all of those. So, and then the last thing that we're going to talk about is going to be the two recent interviews that Namor did, where he was asked about recast, and he was asked and spoken to about the feelings that people were feeling within the film. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to listen to his answers and the things that he had to say. Like I said, every time Namor gets on screen, I personally love it because I get my shits and giggles in for the day for sure. There's nothing that this man says that I don't laugh at every single time he opens his mouth. But we're gonna get into that as well. But before we get into any of that, I want to go into here first. If you guys would like to join our Discord, if you're new here and you're not a part of our Discord, the link should be down below in the bio. And if you just click that link, you can send us topics, or you can send us links to these interviews like Nate Moore is doing. This got sent to me. You can send these type of things to us, and then from there we'll go on the show and we'll talk about them live with you guys. So if that's something you guys are interested in being a part of, like I said, it's a growing community in the Discord as well. There's conversations happening all throughout the day in there. And if it's something you want to be a part of a growing community, we definitely encourage you to click that link down below and join our Discord. But let's get into some of the things going on here. Let me see. Last time my kin said, "I feel you, bro. I'm a truck driver and it's starting to nowhere." Yeah, bro. I work I work for a dentist office, and it's yeah, yeah. I am nobody said his name is Namor. I'm sorry, that's right, Namor. Last of my kin, you can't believe much what Namor says. No, you cannot. There's not too much of anything that Namor says that is that's believable. But we're gonna get to that. I promise. Like that, I'm telling you, I'm gonna get my laughs in. That's pretty funny. But as I said, looks like if you remember a few months ago that the Squadron Supreme was rumored to show up in Loki season 2. We've not heard anything since then, but they were rumored to show up in Loki season 2. So I will go ahead and read. Let me bring that to my screen. Go ahead and read here what they said, or what's being said about the Squadron Supreme showing up. All right, as is commonplace these days with various insiders, Casey Walsh took to Twitter to share a picture of Squadron Supreme, though he failed to prove any more context. If one looks at the replies to the tweet, Casey responds, paint a clear picture. When you ask if the group was going to show up in Loki Season 2, a show they've previously been rumored to appear in, Walsh responded, no idea, I'm hearing them for something else. Someone else jumped in, suggesting Avengers Kang Dynasty, to which the insider replied with a simple nope. A third tweet from Walsh simply shared a comic image of Thunderbolt, suggesting the Squadron Supreme could be facing off the Ragtag Bunch in a film. Then it goes on to say the most recent incarnation of Squadron Supreme came in 2015, where the group consisted of different superpowered individuals who originated from various realities destroyed by incursions, a universe-ending event that led directly into Secret Wars. This includes Dr. Spectrum, who plays off the Green Lantern, Blur, who riffs off the Flash, Nighthawk, who is an alternate Batman, and Hyperion, who's basically a Superman clone. Then there's Thundra, the warrior woman, both of whom play off Wonder Woman in different ways. When it comes to their possible entrance into the MCU, two things jump out. The first is how the team is comprised of people from different universes, an idea that would play very well into the multiversal saga. Then add in how the recent versions of the team was directly related to build up to Secret Wars, and it all starts to really fit. There truly wouldn't be a better time to invite the Squadron Supreme into the MCU than at some point during Phase 5 or 6. So like I said, one thing that we've known is that the Squadron Supreme was going to be, or was rumored to be showing up in the MCU back when Loki was being discussed heavily. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Is that something I want to hear from the chat? What are you guys thinking? Is that something you want to see in the MCU? Are you thinking, I mean, the Squadron Supreme do heavily play in to, the events of Secret Wars and things like that, but do you think they're going to show up in Loki season 2? And if they do show up in Loki season 2, in what way? Because one of the things that I was thinking about it, well, let me see here. Raymond 2000 said, do they have access to telenovelas and Talacon? I'm done, Raymond. Hungry Almighty said the whole calling him we're on Namor. We're still talking about Namor. Black Claw, what's up? Appreciate you being here. One of the things that I thought about it was if they do show up in Loki season 2, playing off the whole multiverse thing, we've had incursions mentioned, they've several times now, especially in Multiverse of Madness. So with the regular MCU fans and us, and not just regular MCU fans, but the MCU as a whole being now introduced to incursions and everything, and how incursions work and what that means for a universe. I don't think it's out of the realm to think that we may even hear or be dealing with some type of incursion type. Honestly, I don't think an incursion is going to take place in Loki, but I think that they are going to be made aware of what incursions possibly are in Loki. And if that being so, that could be how you bring in the Squadron Supreme. That could be how, and I don't think they're going to play a major role in Loki season 2 either. That there's not a lot that we know about Loki season 2 besides the leaked trailer that came out after D23. And it wasn't a trailer that was telling either. For those of you that might have seen that trailer, it wasn't a telling trailer. The only thing that trailer really showed, or it was just things that we honestly have seen from the leaked set photos. It wasn't really much in that trailer that came out. But I do think that we could see a great possibility of seeing the Squadron Supreme show up in Loki season 2. Even though Casey Walsh, Casey Walsh, is, we all know, can be an ass on Twitter sometimes, but he's credible. He knows what he's talking about. But he said nope to Kang Dynasty. He said no idea, I'm hearing something else when asked about Loki season 2. So, and then he posted the picture of the Thunderbolts. I don't know. Could it be the Thunderbolts that they show up in? We had all this speculation of what the Thunderbolts could be without the rumors and everything going around about it. But could we be seeing something else with the Thunderbolts? Maybe they don't show up in the Thunderbolts. Maybe the Thunderbolts, that's the only thing that I could imagine right at this point if you're showing pictures of the Thunderbolts. Let's see. Last of my kin said, when will Loki season 2 be released as a release date? Not to my knowledge as of yet. I'm thinking that they're going to release the trailer before the end of the year. I hope that they release the trailer before the end of the year. Kind of given something to play on before before Quantumania. So they may release that then. But in the release date, I'm sure would come out with that trailer. Javen Price said, I'm not going to lie, I didn't think Talakon was all that. It wasn't a lot go off by because they show like 2 places, kids playing his people. Yeah, I wasn't impressed by Talakon either. The throne and that's it. No, I wasn't impressed by but I wasn't impressed by Wakanda either. Spoiler King said, and better than just flipping is real name Namor. Hungry Almighty said, in Secret Wars, which Fox X-Men do you see returning? Feige apparently wants to give the Fox X-Men one last goodbye before moving on to the MCU X-Men. I'm thinking they did Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Jean, etc. Well, we know Wolverine because we've already had the mention of Wolverine not by name, but we saw the obviously we know who they're talking about. It was Wolverine and She-Hulk that they were discussing. Probably the others that you named as well, but I bet you I honestly think too they're gonna sprinkle in some maybe not. I think they might stick to that core group. So possibly the core group guys, the ones you named. Kelsey Grammer recently said also that he would love to come back to the MCU as Beast, and I don't think that I know that that's not out of the question, because you take it to what Kevin Feige has said in the past, as something we talked about. Kevin Feige wants to bring that original X-Men team into the MCU, not as the mainstay X-Men, but he wants to be using them heavy in the multiversal stuff right now. He's always said that he wants to put Toby and those X-Men guys all on one screen together. So obviously leading up into the Secret War stuff. So I don't think it's outside the scope to say that we could see any of those guys or any of the actual mainstay versions of them either. D. Stizzle said, so Marvel might do their equivalent of the Justice League, but they refuse to get Atlantis rights. Their explanation for not calling Talakon Atlantis was that they didn't want to confuse the audience within the MCU that is also DC watchers. They didn't want to confuse everyone because there's already a Atlantis in the superhero world films that we view. So that was the thing that they had said that they didn't want to confuse everyone. But at that point, I say, you know, I'm not dumb. I know what movie I'm watching. Stamina MC, what's up? Said London's calling. I be good. It's not a y'all today. It's just a me. I be good though. Last of my kin said, it was a letdown, LOL. We are going to explore the world of Wakanda. We get to see the movie, and that's not the case now. Yeah. We got Miss Makiba. Appreciate you being here. Ant-Man 1991. You guys going on about Talakon. Said, didn't show much as I hoped, and Wakanda didn't feel like Wakanda without T'Challa. No disrespect to Queen Ramonda, but her death was disrespectful. And Hungry Almighty said, why are companies so scared that audiences will be confused? Seriously, I know some fans are dumb, but come on. Most of us are not 2 years old. Yeah, that's what I was saying. We're not kids, and I'm pretty intelligent. I would think. I know what movie I'm watching. I know if I'm watching a DC film or if I'm watching a Marvel film, and the context and all. So yeah. Spoiler King said, confuse. In other words, we don't want to give any credit to another studio, Disney, all about the exclusive branding. That's true too. That is very true too. Appreciate you guys being here. We got SSJ K Dot. Appreciate you being here, bro. He said Wakanda was weak. They can get beat by the U.S. at this point. Fish people. I'm sorry, the screen keeps moving from. Fish people humiliated them. Yeah, we can talk BP too. Let's go ahead and go. I'll go on that with you guys. The Wakanda did not impress me in any way, shape, or form in Wakanda Forever. I was not impressed with their military. You know, one of the lines that Namor said was, "I've got more soldiers in my army than Wakanda has blades of grass." So that was clearly shown by Talakon. That was clearly shown. You know, not just in the numbers that Talakon had. What are they? The Talakanese? What's plural for Talakon? The Talakanoans? What I'm going to call them Talakanoans. The Talakanoans, he could just raise them from the dead at any point. So I don't think that. And then you look at Wakanda when they were getting ready to go to war. They were getting ready to take the battle on to the water where Namor lit. So when they were preparing their armies and everything, they walked out on the landing platform with like 50 people. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why are we not seeing, like, when I'm thinking we're about to go to war with another nation? Remember the Quantumania trailer? When it showed Kang's army and it was wrapped around that. Man, that's Wakanda. That's Wakanda. Not taking 50 motherfuckers out on the platform and thinking that you're about to go stop a man who said, I've literally got more soldiers in my army than you've got blades of grass, who literally just came in with a little small group when he flooded Wakanda. Let's be honest, because they didn't really show a lot of people. So let's just assume he took Namora, he took Atuma, and he took like 5-10 other guys. That's only 13, 14 plus him. So you've got 14 people. He came in there with 14 people, flooded Wakanda, killed the queen, stood over her body, then pointed at Shuri and said, "You're queen now." I'm like, bro. And y'all got 50 people on the platform? 50 people to take out to... And then not only 50 people, you're taking the battle to him. You're taking the battle to the water. And that was all stupid to me. And then on top of that, you've got one of the rudders or whatever it was that Namor was stabbing. You've got that at the bottom of the ocean. Like it's pointing... It's at the bottom of your aircraft, your watercraft rather. Sorry, it's at the bottom of your watercraft, and it's in the water where the people you are fighting are from. So it also didn't show the intelligence of Wakanda, and I was just like, so again, as I've said many times, the advertisement, because they didn't want to recast, was then pushed on exploring Wakanda, seeing the glory of and might of Wakanda, learning new things that we didn't already know in the MCU about Wakanda. That just did not happen at all. It was a false advertisement for one, just as we've talked about, to get asses in the seats. Hold on. Get your ass off. It was a false advertisement. So I'm like, bruh, no. I didn't learn. Like, the movie's not impressive. And it's not, that's what I'm saying too. It's not just about a not recasting. The movie itself is just simply not impressive. It didn't impress me. Because you created so many plot holes. And then again, you know, the one thing I kind of was clinging to was, let me see how they do Wakanda. Okay, we you know, I'm pissed we're not getting T'Challa, but let me see how you do Wakanda. Let me see how you show the might of Wakanda. Let me see how you handle now that you've introduced another technologically advanced nation into your into the MCU. Let me see how you handle two advanced civilizations going against one another. Because Talokan bitched Wakanda. Yes, Wakanda won the end battle, but for those of you that haven't seen the film, spoiler alert, the way the battle is won. Shuri telling Namor to yield. I don't know in what universe Namor yields. I guess the MCU universe. But Shuri tells Namor to yield. Namor then yields. They fly up on one of the Wakandan ships, and then Namor, as the Talakanoans, because again, I don't know what the pluralization is. What did you say, Stamina? Talakan. Yeah, y'all know I don't do. Okay, yeah, the people from Talokan. So you had them. And then Namor, you have the people from Talokan and the people of Wakanda fighting each other on the top of the aircraft. And then you've got the people of Talokan that have gotten the people of Wakanda cornered, about to back them off the ship. Because there's only they only took 50 people. So by this time, there's only like 5 of them left. And they're trying to back them off. And then Shuri flies up on the ship with Namor. And Namor says to his people, and he speaks to his people, and then says, "Drop your weapons, we're going home. There is no fight here." I'm just thinking, what? That again, but that's what happens when you take a script that was already, I'm sure, brilliant, because Chad helped you write it, because it was Chad's vision and what he wanted for the character of T'Challa moving forward. You took that script, scrapped it, took your feelings, wrapped some bullshit around it, and you got Wakanda Forever. That's what you got. So yeah, Wakanda was weak, very nerfed. It was very sad. Let's see. Raymond said, "I think audiences will be able to differentiate the two. I mean, yeah, it's the evil Justice League, and yeah, people do compare Marvel and DC all the time. That's going to happen for the rest of time." True. Squadron Supreme is going to be like Eternals, I'm sure. They're going to change them a lot, I'm sure. I mean, it's the MCU. It's the MCU. D. Stizzle said Hyperion is Superman, Nighthawk is Batman, Power Princess is Wonder Woman, etc. Right. K. said Wakanda took a huge downgrade, and even in is that the new game? IW, is that has that game come out? Am I thinking of the same game? Move, please. Then we've got Javen Prince that said that would have gave them the incentives for the X-Men project. Also, Storm would have helped with Namor and his army. I heard some theories about how they might want to do Storm with TJ. Stamina NC, that's what you were telling me about that. Gray said, sounds like Wakanda got nerfed. Wakanda got... Wakanda, that's not... It wasn't Wakanda. That wasn't Wakanda. K-Dot said, Talakon losing in the water like that made no sense either. No, it didn't. That's what I said. You had an entire... you took the fight to him, which made no sense to me. Like, you saw them pop out the water like daisies. And you said, let's take the fight to them. I understood what they were trying to do. And it still didn't work because, you again, for them to be the most technologically advanced nation in the world, you put the thing that could destroy your watercraft at the bottom of the craft in the water where they come from. So again, it just it made no sense. Astra said, I'm still mad about the drum of water beats and all the hype about the shield. I thought they had a control tower and bunker. Don't know, bro. Let's see. We've got D Stizzles that said the top flight security was slacking. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I gotta get him out of here. Come here. Yeah, bro, you gotta get out. Sorry. Shouldn't have let his little ass come in here. We've got Grace that sounds dumb as fuck, because it was dumb as fuck. I promise you, it was. Raymond 2000 said, can someone make me a cut of Wakanda Forever without anything that hints at the death of T'Challa and Ramonda? I know that'd be short movie, but besides all of that, the performances were just so good. Yeah, not obviously, as I always say, I will give credit where credit is due. We've talked about it. Angela Bassett was phenomenal. Denai was phenomenal. But I mean, Winston Duke was Winston Duke. I mean, he was good for what they did. I really can't say what Winston Duke was because we barely saw Winston Duke, you know? Besides the scene in the throne room with him and the rest of the Jabari and getting punched out by Namor, there was really nothing else. And the little motivational speech he gave to Suri, there was really nothing else. Spoiler King said, what? Talakon won until Namor said we're calling it a tie. Yeah. It was weird. It was that whole, again, it was sloppy. It was lazy. It was what you get when you take a script that was done and rewrite something that should have never been. So that's what it is. It's crazy. Then you got Raymond 2000 that said, it's just a shame that all of this happened when BP1 came out. I always thought that BP franchise could have a trilogy that could rival the Dark Knight trilogy. They were just scratching the surface of what that really could have been. They really were just scratching the surface of what that really could have been. That could have been. Like I said, we've heard Ryan Coogler say that, you know, the script that they had done was going to be a T'Challa vehicle. Like the film was going to center on T'Challa and having to deal with things after the blip and dealing with Wakanda, dealing with the opening Wakanda, dealing with every, you know, different things. Namor was still going to be the villain, but just dealing with the different things that he was going to be dealing with. And I would really love to see that script. I would really love to know what that script was going to be, what that looked like moving forward. So they were just scratching the surface. Let's see. ADCTW said, what's funny about this trash movie was the heart-shaped herb 3D printed from a 3D printer machine. That's very true. It did. Raymond 2000 said, I also have an issue with the Black Panther movies not being just inside Wakanda. Like, I get it, well, we'll have to stray and go to maybe a city outside of Wakanda once, but I want one just with Wakanda. And I honestly, again, I think that was going to be what the original script was, because he was going to have to be dealing with opening Wakanda. That's one of the most interesting things about the Black Panther comics. It's the struggle that T'Challa has as being king over Wakanda and not always making a decision that the masses approve of. You know, so it's that struggle between him and Wakanda. It's always an interesting story. If you pick up any of the BP comics, it's an interesting story between the struggle between him as king and being king over Wakanda. But I honestly think that that's what the first script was going to be dealing with, because again, he opened the borders. He opened Wakanda to the rest of the world, their resources and everything like that. So they were going to have to be dealing with that, and that was going to be within Wakanda. So I bet that film was going to originally be just that. Hungry Almighty said, I'm still mad at the fact that they basically made T'Challa look like a hypocrite for hiding his son. Yeah, bro. D. Stizzle said, Namor is just as stubborn as Victor Von Doom. That's what I'm saying. I don't know in what world Namor yields to a fight like that. Let me put it that way, to a fight like that. Asherah said, Wakandans got concerned or cornered again in a second movie. Yep, cornered again. They were about to get thrown again. It just didn't show the might of Wakanda. Raymond 2000 said, it's just a shame that all of this happened when Oh, I read that one. Okay, Ant-Man 1991. Well, it took me back down. Ant-Man 1991 said, seeing Wakanda being flooded shows how T'Challa was seriously needed. He would have never let Namor slide like that. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, even the scene like with when Ramonda was talking to Namor on the beach and got in Ramonda's, like, bruh, T'Challa would never have let that shit fly. Ever. Raymond 2000 said, you didn't tell us you had Bast as your pet. Yes, bruh. That's actually Murmur. You know, the part of the X-Men, Murmur. That's his name. I've got my dog's name, though. And I could let... See, he would be chill. I could let him come in. My dog's name is T'Challa. I could let him come in here. He honestly wouldn't be bad, because there's nobody else in here but me. But if there were other people, he'd be going crazy. But if it's just me in here, he'd be chill. I'd let y'all meet T'Challa. I'll let y'all meet T'Challa one day. T'Challa's I love him. I really do. I love my babies. I do. I love him. He's 3 years old and he still hasn't calmed down. And I have another dog that's 8. And he's a pit. They're both pits. He's a pit. T'Challa's a pit mix, though. And my other pit's 8, and he's chill, like chill, bro. He knows the routine. He he's just chill. T'Challa, each day he acts as if we're doing something new. He knows he gets up. When I get up, they go outside to go to the bathroom. They do their eating, everything like that. And he acts as if this is the first time in life we've ever done it. And I love him, but I'm just like, at 6 a.m., I don't need you doing Cirque du Soleil fucking Ninja Warrior shit off my walls. So, but I'll let y'all meet T'Challa one day. I will let y'all meet him. Let's see. Ultra Hero IX said, I see you got a little panther there. Yes. That is, like I said, that's Murmur. Last of My Kin said, I know that feeling, my guy. Can't do too much as well. Like, bro, you're doing the most. Yeah, chill. I'm telling you. They get like that. Let's see. We've got Havoc Unbound. I was talking to Hungry Almighty there. Kenny Pierce said, "Hit that like button. It's good for you." That is true. It's really good for you. Smash that like button. We got 42 people in here, 16 likes. Smash that like button if you really, really like the stream. I guess if you don't like the stream, you don't have to like it. You don't have to smash the like button. But if you like the stream so far, go ahead and smash the like button. We've got Big Bell that said that would be fire. If you're talking about the original script that I was talking about, I don't know what the original script was. That's just what I would assume it could have been. Last of My Kin said that was really slacking on Black Panther. Every other franchise was getting sequels and more, but Black Panther wasn't in the conversation. They didn't want to see black people enjoy it. Like I said, I think that a superpowered black male king scares the hell out of Hollywood. But again, it was necessary to be seen. Why? As things that I've said in the past. Because in films, we're normally seen as the villain or the absentee father or the drug dealer or etc. of other stereotypes that we're normally seen as. So when we are seen in those lights, typically in movies that are seen around the world, not just in the States, but around the world, a thought then starts to be formed in people's minds that is what these people are. That is who these people are. They are like the people that we see them portrayed as in the movies. So then we get a negative stereotype that's on us. And I think that it was important for the world to see us in a light that we had never been portrayed as on screen. And that is one of the most powerful nations in the world. And that is a strong, black, superpowered male king that is a king of a nation that wasn't colonized, that lifts up their males and females. Everybody, they don't have to add one to subtract the other. It's like E-Man always says, it's addition. They're not doing addition by subtraction. So it's like, that's what we needed to have been seen as, instead of just being seen as the things that we've been seen as in films thus far. So that's what I think Hollywood is afraid of. That's what I think that they don't want the community to be seen as. We've got Gray that said that script needs to be the Black Panther 3 with T'Challa coming back from Secret Wars. It'd be nice. It would be nice. Let's see. Gray said next Avengers was the cartoon he was in. Yeah, that one. I didn't watch that cartoon, but actually, let me put this. I didn't watch it in its entirety. I've watched scenes from that series on YouTube, though. I have seen things from it. Ultra Hero IX said M'Baku is going to be M'Baku is going to be closing those borders now. Likely so. Last of My Kin said Nate Moore couldn't seen the right Black Panther comics. I'm sure couldn't have seen the right Black Panther comics because we're gonna get to that interview. Actually, I'm gonna play that here in a minute. That interview that Nate Moore did, and I liked the questions he was asked in those interviews. Let me see. D. Stizzle said first appearance in the next Avengers film, later in comics like during Hickman and Spencer's Avengers World Run. Hungry Almighty said, wait, why you named the dog T'Challa? Why not the black cat that you have? Well, because I didn't get Murmur. Murmur's only a year old. I got Murmur last year. I've had T'Challa for 3 years. So had I gotten Murmur first, Murmur's name would have been T'Challa. And T'Challa's name would have been something different. I don't know. But, yeah, no. That's why. Hungry Almighty said, also, I still can't believe we live in a reality where characters like Falcon, Guardian, Ant-Man, etc. have gotten more screen time than T'Challa. As I said, don't get me wrong, I love Spider-Man, bro. Love Spider-Man. It's probably next to T'Challa, one of my favorite Marvel characters. But they entered the MCU at the same time. And while entering the MCU at the same time, Spider-Man has had 3 films. Has been in Infinity War and Endgame. has shown up again, like we talked about, Civil War. And then Spider-Man, the Spider-Man franchise has now been announced for the Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6. And that he is going to be showing up in Kang Dynasty Secret Wars and Secret Wars. So, I think that they could have done a hell of a lot better with the Black Panther franchise than what they did. Ultra Hero IX said, if Marvel is intimidated by a strong black male character like T'Challa, then we all should just forget about Blue Marvel appearing in the MCU. I've said that too. And I've seen people, the rumor, I don't know how heavy that rumor still is, but Blue Marvel was supposed to be showing up in the Marvels, despite obviously not being a Marvel, but still showing up in the Marvels. Makes sense because you got Monica, so I mean, hey, they could play on that, and I would love that if they did that. But I agree. If that's something they're afraid of, then we can if they do bring Blue Marvel in, we can expect that he may not be the Adam Brashear that we're used to. So, that's something to think about too. Ant-Man 991 said Ryan and Nate really screwed up the franchise, but I'm more disappointed in Feige for letting them make the decision for not recasting T'Challa. Him, of all people, know how important he is. That is very true. Feige's not said much other than what he said at D23 and then the most recent interview about him saying it just felt like it was too soon. Again, I felt like he just said that to kind of hush the recast crowd, because they definitely were very much aware of the recast crowd, and that is very much apparent in the new Nate Moore interviews that he's done. So, yeah, Kevin Feige definitely should have stepped in more, I think. Again, we don't know what it looked like behind the scenes, but obviously, actually, we do know that it was up to Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore. I don't know how involved Feige was with that, but one of the things that definitely should have happened was Kevin Feige should have stepped in and been more of a controlling hand in that situation, knowing how important the character is moving forward in the stories you're trying to tell, especially the story you're telling right now. So, yeah. Let's see. Last of My Kin said they really should listen to the fans. Yes, they should. And again, Nate Moore addressed that, Last of My Kin. I'm going to let you hear what he had to say about listening to the fans. Executive Judge said, are you talking about Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon? I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to Marvel's animated series, animated stuff, I don't watch Marvel's animated stuff. I watch DC's animated stuff because it is phenomenal. But the last Marvel animated things I've watched were obviously not X-Men 97 that I grew up on, Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man series, 90s series that I grew up on. I watched those, but I've heard really good things about the ones you guys are talking about. I just haven't watched them. K-Dot said, notice how Shuri skipped on Challenge Day, and that's when you fight for Black Panther and the right to rule. They know Shuri can't fade with M'Baku in combat without the herb. And not only that, I don't know if y'all have noticed, at Avengers Campus, is that on Disney World or Disneyland? I always get those two confused. I think it's Disney World. But Avengers Campus at Disney World, T'Challa ain't there no more. T'Challa's not on Avengers Campus anymore. It is Shuri that is on Avengers Campus now. And somebody went up to the actress and was asking her questions about, or the cosplayer in the costume asking questions about M'Baku, and is he the new ruler now, and what does that mean for you being the BP, and all this kind of stuff, and like as if this cosplayer knows the answers to these questions. And obviously she didn't, so she just kept saying, oh, we're gonna see. But yeah, no, T'Challa's not on Avengers Campus anymore. Let's see. Miss Makiba said, could have named them like George Foreman named his kids. T'Challa 1, T'Challa 2, etc. Last of My Kin said, I hope that rumor is false, because I would love to see Blue Marvel. I would love to see Blue Marvel too. If I'm saying this right, I think I am. Is it Black Politician? Oh man, now I'm worried about how they'll do my boy Blade. Well, you know what? I will say this. Let's talk about Blade just for a second. Remember, so let's go back a few weeks ago when when Mahershala Ali was disgusted and frustrated with everything going on. He was disgusted and frustrated because it was a 90-page script with 2 lackluster fight scenes in the script. These are their words. 2 lackluster fight scenes in the script, a 90-page script. Mahershala Ali was frustrated. Feige hadn't been on, hands on and things like that. And the rumor, this didn't come out, but the rumor was that Mahershala was ready to, honestly, thinking about walking away. He was announced as Blade in 2019. Why from 2019 until we're in 2020? This was a few months ago. This wasn't a few months ago. This was last month. So this was last month that this was all talked about. So with this being last month, the film being announced in 2019 when you brought Mahershala out at SDCC and announced him as Blade, that was 3 years ago. Let's basically just say 4 years ago, because let's round here. We're about to move into 2023, and they are now having to rewrite the script, which caused the pushback of the film. Now, here's the positives. They've got DeMeo. DeMeo is also he's black. He's a person of color. And he's one of the writers. He's writing on X-Men 97, and he's also I don't know if he's writing the entire Blade film. I think he is, though. I think he's writing the entire Blade film. And Mahershala is heavily involved with the direction of the film. These are things that we've heard now. So we haven't heard anything come out as of late of Mahershala being still upset about everything or whatever. But as it stands right now, he is pretty happy. I'm assuming especially if he's gotten his hands on more of a controlling factor of the direction that this film is going to be going. And DeMeo knows his shit. DeMeo was one of the writers for The Witcher that he was frustrated with things going on with The Witcher because he said he was in a room of people, that didn't know the material of what they were writing. And that was something Henry Cavill was kind of upset about too. So that's the kind of thing that's going on with Blade. So let's hope. I'm with you right there. Let's hope they get Blade right. But like I said, I hope Mahershala's not going to let that go down. Last of my kin said, nah, Kevin, let them make that decision. He did. Raymond 2000 said, I was watching the special features from the first BP film that shows T'Challa in the Hall of Kings viewing the dead body of T'Chaka after the events of Civil War. Something else that they took out. One thing that E-Man mentions a lot is, why did we never see a funeral for T'Chaka? If you want to keep it real and keep it on those tones and things. And again, I can't wait. I'm really ready to show y'all what Namor had to say, but I want to finish this part real quick. D Stizzle said, besides What If, Marvel's animated stuff post Disney hasn't been good. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, not the biggest fan of their animated stuff. Last of my kin said, Darius, if they said we are gonna do a Black Panther King of the Dead, bring back and recast T'Challa, how would you feel? Myself, I would like that idea from the comic side. I would love that idea. I would be like, that would probably be one of the best streams this channel would ever have, is if Marvel actually got on screen and said, we are recasting the character, and then they do it in that type of form from the comics, bro. That words can't explain how excited I would be, because again, it's just the character. It's what the character means. Like, it's my favorite Marvel character, and I hate to have him take off the screen when there's so much story left to tell, when there's so much more you can do with the character. It's like I said in one of our streams too. Most of these anti-recasters, most of these people love what they've seen of the Black Panther in the MCU. And like I said, if you really love the character that much, if you really think that you love that version of the character, go pick up some of the source material for that character. Go really learn about who this character really is, what this character really stands for, how powerful this character really is. Not just how powerful, but also see how intelligent this character is. See how formidable this character really is. There's so much that you can go on with T'Challa, because as I've said, you can put T'Challa on screen and you cannot take any other hero and make a comparison to T'Challa, because there is no other. And it's like having him off the screen, again, it hurts. It hurts. I hate it. Raymond 2000 said, no, it's at Disneyland in California. I saw that. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. Okay, so it's Disneyland. It is disgusting. So Galaxy's Edge is at Disneyland then too, right? I believe, yeah. So, yeah, T'Challa's not on Avengers Campus, and I'm telling you, erasing him out of every facet of his franchise that they can. Like, I don't know. I don't get it, bro. I don't understand it. The more I don't understand it is because, again, I say this one all the time too. What did Namor say in 2018? We all know what Namor said in 2018. In order to love the Black Panther, you first have to love, to order to love T'Challa. Well, how do you say it? I'm sorry. In order to love the Black Panther, you have to first love T'Challa. And he has just completely negated from that, and he's completely left that in 2018, and now we don't even mention T'Challa. He didn't mention T'Challa on the on the purple carpet. Go watch the premiere. He didn't mention T'Challa. He kept saying Black Panther. Like, even in the comics, or not the comics, even when he was talking about the comics, he said, well, the Black Panther and Namor's have an interesting relationship in the comics. No, the Black Panther and T'Challa have an interesting relationship in the comics. Not Black Panther and, Black Panther, or Namor and T'Challa have an interesting relationship in the comics. Not Black Panther and Namor. Namor and T'Challa have an interesting relationship. Like, that's what I'm saying. They keep taking T'Challa's name out of everything and replacing it with just the Black Panther, the Black Panther, the Black Panther. And it's like, let's not forget who the Black Panther is. We've got Valley Superb that said, let me read the first up here. I skipped a few, I'm sorry. Asher said, after trying so hard to keep Cavill out, WB got no choice but to cater to the fans. And that was something that I was talking about earlier too. Before I even got on the stream, I was on the phone with my producer, and I was talking to him about it. And I was just telling him, look at the stuff with Cavill fans, with what DC fans did. DC fans, it took a decade, but DC fans screamed and screamed and screamed for their character to be back on the screen. Now, do I want to wait a decade before we get T'Challa back on the screen? No. Hell no. No, I don't want to wait a decade to get T'Challa back on the screen. But that's what I'm saying. DC now, if you look at what James Gunn tweeted a few days ago, he asked the fans, what movies do you guys want to see? What ideas do you guys have? Like I said, and just having their ear to the ground and asking the fans what they want to see. But when I show you what Nate Moore just said about the fans, obviously Marvel doesn't give a fuck. So for everyone that's out there saying, oh, calm down, they're gonna recast him, I'm so sick of people this week tagging me in Winston Duke's interview as if Winston Duke has some type of inside tips on what Marvel is going to do or what Kevin Feige's going to do. He said, I don't tag me in that anymore, please. We're gonna talk about it. We are gonna talk about it. Not today. We the panel. We are gonna talk about it. But I don't care what Winston Duke said. I don't care that Winston Duke said he's gonna be back in some facet or form or whatever. Until Marvel Studios says that they are recasting T'Challa, there has been no inkling, there's been no hints, there's been nothing given that T'Challa's coming back in the MCU. So I don't give a damn what Winston Duke said. I don't care what the next actor or actress says. Kevin Feige, Nate Moore, or Coogler, or whoever, Victoria, somebody, one of them have to get on screen and say, we are going to recast T'Challa. So no, bro, that's what I'm saying. Marvel is when it comes to their having their ear to the ground to what fans want, like the new regime at DC does, that doesn't happen. They don't care, bro. They do not care. They have their story. They have what they're gonna do. This has been planned. And yes, we talk about it all the time. They can change anything they want at the last minute. I gave a list of things yesterday that they've changed at the last minute. So they could do anything and bring him back. So if the recast crowd stays hard pressed like we've been, if we continue to and I'm so sorry, stop arguing with these dumbass anti-recasters. Like seriously, I told one of them today, you know what, bro? Go off. You're right. Go off. Ignore the anti-recast crowd. They are set in their ways. They're set on what they've seen at face value with the 2018 T'Challa. They don't understand where we, the pro-recasters, are coming from. And there are even some pro-recasters that don't read the comics that are just like, no, this makes logical fucking sense. So ignore the anti-recasters, and if the recast crowd stays hard-pressed on what we truly believe and continue to press Marvel on their terrible, disrespectful, selfish decision, then I truly do believe that there could be something, because the only thing Nate Moore was asked, this is how I put it earlier. It's like Thanksgiving, bro. That's what's coming up. You've got everybody wants turkey ham, your meat potatoes. Your meat and potatoes is the main course of any meal. You got your side dishes. Namor, when it comes to Nate Moore being interviewed, Namor is a side dish. Wakanda is a side dish. Okoye is a side, and I'm telling you how the interviewers are approaching it. Okoye is a side dish. What happens to Queen Ramonda, even though Angela Bassett was fucking phenomenal, is a side dish. The meat and potatoes the overall question that each interviewer has asked him was the decision not to recast. That's what everybody's talking about. Even when they were putting out before the film, when they were putting out the trailers, the teaser spots, the featurettes, whose name trended? Whose name trended all opening weekend? T'Challa, the King. Why did his name trend all opening weekend? Because he's the franchise's main character, and it's really starting to get annoying to me, and this is where I get exhausted with it. That people can, in the same breath, say no, they shouldn't recast for X, Y, and Z reasons. But again, we just talked about the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and how every person was saying it makes no sense to bring the Pirates of the Caribbean back without the franchise's main character. If Captain Jack Sparrow's not in it, why are you doing it? But in the same breath will say, don't recast T'Challa for X, Y, and Z. How does that make sense to have any franchise without its main character? It doesn't make sense in Star Wars. You cannot have what happens in Star Wars without Anakin Skywalker. You can't have the events of Spider-Man without Peter Parker. I said this yesterday. Would you go to Gotham if there's no Batman? Would you go to Metropolis if there's no Superman? So why then do I have to go to Wakanda if there's no T'Challa? People are like, well, there's so many other things that Wakanda's great for. Point them out to me, please. In the MCU. I know that as a comic fan, I know that. But in the MCU, point them out to me. Where's Wakanda great in Wakanda Forever? Where was the might of Wakanda in Wakanda Forever? The only thing I learned about Wakanda in Wakanda Forever is that they're weak. That they have no security system for Namor to just be able to as easily get into Wakanda as he did. I was shown that I was also shown that they're not as intelligent, or they're not the most technologically advanced nation in the world like we might have thought that they were in the MCU. Because if you're telling me that this is the most technologically advanced, intelligent people and this and that, bro, we just talked about it. We talked about it earlier. That ending fight, all of that just wasn't Wakanda. So that's where the conversation comes from with having DC having their ear to the ground. DC fans actually paying it, or DC, the new DC regime, actually listening to what the fans want. Hell, like I said, James Gunn, the president, tweeted it out. What do you want to see? Marvel has not officially addressed the recast crowd. Yes, Nate Moore, I'm going to show him to you. I promise we're going to get to him. Yes, Nate Moore has said the things that he has said. But for people coming in saying, oh, there's hope, he's coming back, just chill out, give him time to grieve. They've had 2 years, but give him time to grieve. Let him do this, let him do that. How long do we have to wait? A decade?
Is it going to be a decade before we see T'Challa back on screen? As Theo B has pointed out, there are people that have been waiting to see this character on screen since the 50s, since the height of the civil rights movement. Not all of them are going to be blessed enough to be able to see that decade, to be able to see when you put him back on the screen. So how dare you be so selfish to those of us that are older, that are wanting to see this character, that now don't get to see a character that they grew up with way before I even stepped on the scene. That's selfish. And it's baffling to me that the anti-recast crowd can't see some of these laid out points. This is fact stuff. We're not just talking MCU. We are talking bigger than the MCU. That's what I mean. That's what these anti-recasters don't understand. They come in here and think 2018, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, I love that film. It's bigger than the MCU. When Kevin Feige said Chadwick Boseman's rendition transcends any iteration or whatever, no. This franchise transcends the MCU. It's way bigger and deeper than the MCU. But again, when you come in at face value and you're looking at the recast T'Challa crowd or movement, you're looking at it from a point of view of Chadwick Boseman, immortalizing Chadwick Boseman, because that's continuing to go on. Again, I told you, I got another comment that said Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther. No. And it's so weird that you all keep saying that. No. And again, it's to the point now to where I'm starting to think we need to have a wider conversation about why you think this man is a fictional character. And we can do it in a counseling session. We can do it over Zoom call. Like I want to invite some anti-recasters on. Please have a conversation with me. And I'll have a civilized conversation. Have a conversation with me. Can you articulate to me why the character needs to be taken off of the screen without using the words Chadwick Boseman died? Because that's known. We know that. Can you come on a stream and articulate to me as to the reason why the character should be taken off of the screen? I invite, if there are any anti-recasters that might be listening, that might play this back in a replay, please DM me on Twitter. I would love to have you come on. I would love to have you come and articulate to me why the character, a character that transcends your little MCU, should be taken off the screen for people that have been waiting 50 plus years to see this character on screen. For people that this character is literal black representation for. For the black little boys that the character was made for. That now don't get to see this character. That now don't get to see themselves in a black character because you've taken them off the screen. Well, you got Yahya Abdul. Well, you got Sam Wilson. Well, you got X, Y, and Z. Sam's on the left. And it sounds like he's not even going to be the star in his own film. Yahya's playing a white man's story, so it doesn't matter if they look up to him or not, because if you look up to Yahya, and for honestly talking, if a kid that doesn't know comics comes into the MCU and says, oh, this new Wonder Man character is cool, and it's black little boys, and they find themselves fascinated with Yahya's portrayal of Simon Williams, and then they go and pick up comics for Wonder Man, and it's Simon Williams, and they pick him up, and it's white, okay, issue 2, white. That's not representation. That's not the representation we're talking about. Sorry to even go there. Ashford, that comment just took me there because it's like DC has their fucking ear to the ground. They just they're reworking the entire Hal Jordan Green Lantern series for it to be a John Stewart Green Lantern series. I hope that they play heavy on the representation in that series as well. But I'm just excited that we actually get John Stewart, a prominent black DC hero, on screen. What did James Gunn just tweet out the other day? The picture of Mr. Terrific. Obviously alluding to we're going to get a live action Mr. Terrific. Well, a film live action Mr. Terrific. So, yeah, bro, like, that was winded, but Marvel doesn't have their ear to the ground. And if they do, actually, let me rewind that. Marvel has their ears to the ground. Marvel simply doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. I'm gonna play his interviews, I promise. They don't care. K-Dot said, Agatha Harkness getting a show, but T'Challa has to disappear. We are truly in a matrix. You know, you guys have heard me say, I am excited for the Agatha show, but I also feel the same way. You've got Agatha, as Cornelius pointed out last night in the stream, who's an old woman who has honestly no like, she has relevance. I'm not going to say has no relevance. She has relevance, but she's not an important character in any way like that. Like, not like T'Challa. She's getting her own series because of what the MCU is now doing with her. But T'Challa, who you in 2018 wanted to lead your Avengers, now just gets completely taken off because your director and the rest of Marvel Studios, from what it sounds like from listening to Victoria and them on the purple carpet at the premiere, couldn't put your emotions to the side and do your fucking jobs. So yeah, that's what we got. D Stizzle said good/great Marvel animation pre-Disney. K-Dot said, I think Avengers Campus is Disneyland. Not sure. Yeah, I think it's Disneyland. Valley Superb said, just came here from a live stream review of BP2, and judging by how much 250 plus black people there were gushing over this movie, including TJ and how T'Challa was killed, Marvel won't be recasting. Oh yeah, bro. This is what I said the other day. And again, like, some people within our own community are just blind. Like, and it's a like I was saying last night. No, this is why it's important to know where you come from. This is why it's important as a people, as a black people, to know where we come from, so that you can know where you're going. That's Maya Angelou. Know where you come from so that you know where you're going. And the fact that you find Black Death as a black viewer entertaining, fun, or fascinating, or honorable in any way, again, is strange to me. When we watch that in our own community, we see that already. Why do we have to now go sit down in fantasy films with our children and then see this film, a fantasy Marvel film that we've never seen anything like that in a Marvel film? For people saying, oh, Phase 4 has been about grief? Fuck you. Don't insult my intelligence. Not grief like that. Not real life grief. Then you had Kevin Feige when he said how Stan Lee sees the world outside his window. That's not what the fuck. Don't try to twist what Stan Lee said. That's not what he meant when he said that. He wasn't saying he wants to bring the real world into his fantasy. That's not. He was talking about representation. Like the fact that they're doing these mind games. And again, they're doing mind games with with the MCU fans. Because they know that they have control of the masses. The masses of the MCU fans are not comic book readers. They're simply not. So Feige can throw out Stan Lee quotes to the masses because they barely even know who Stan Lee is. When I watch MCU movies with people that don't read the comics, that don't know anything about Marvel other than the MCU, they always say, oh, that's the guy that made all this, right? The guy that shows up in all the films? So if Kevin Feige throws out a quote from Stan Lee, the masses aren't going to understand what that really means or what Stan Lee really meant by that. So that's a part of that brainwashing shit. That's a part of that manipulation shit. Like, bro, I'm not a little kid. Don't play me like I'm a little kid. Like, that shit is crazy to me. Astra said, Planet Fanatics, did you see D-Real's new video about 5 or 10 questions or the critical drinker question videos? No, I have not. I didn't watch it yet, but it is in my. It's on my list to watch. Because he was in our live last night. Then he left to go do his live, and by the time I got off, it was too late for me to go to the live and watch. But I am gonna watch. I'm gonna watch his latest live for sure. K-Dot said, taking T'Challa off Avengers Campus, not cool. They wiping it out all across the board besides the comics. Because they don't care. They don't care, bro. They're trying to get rid of him. I told you. At the premiere, he would not say T'Challa's name. He kept saying the Black Panther in this, the Black Panther in that, the Black Panther, No, T'Challa, bro. T'Challa and Namor have a interesting relationship in publishing. Not Black Panther and Namor. Like, again, they want to get rid of him. They want people to forget.
Let's see. Sorry, this thing took me all the way down. Spoiler King said, I have a question. Coogler killing T'Challa. Why didn't they have a fight for a new king right after his death? No way Wakanda would go that long without a king. Plot holes. Again, that's what you get when you take a story built out of emotion and try to build around it. You tried to build a fantasy story around the real life death of Chadwick Boseman, and it simply didn't pan out the way that you thought so. And I don't care what the masses are saying. I don't care what the regular MCU fan thinks. Film is subjective. If you thought it was beautiful, good on you. If you thought the mid-credit scene was something amazing and holds wonderful hope for the future, then fucking fantastic. But my subjective opinion was that shit was trash. I will never watch it again because I'm not ignorant. I know what I'm watching. I know what you're trying to force upon me. You're trying to prey on my emotions. To profit, for your own personal gain. And to me, that's sick. And anyone else that looks at that as anything other than being sick, I start to look at you differently. I'm starting to question who you really stand. What are your moral values? Like, weird, bro. It's weird. No. Last of my kin said 2 years and they don't have a director for Blade. I would be mad too if I was him. Telling you. That's why Mahershala was pissed. Frustrated, bro. A 90-page script. 90 pages, bro. 2 lackluster fight scenes. 2 fight scenes in a Blade movie? 2 fight scenes in a Blade movie? Yeah, he was pissed. I'd have been pissed too. Not Again 90 said, that's a huge red flag for the Blade character already right there. Yep. D. Stizzle said Marvel Zombies is supposed to be TVMA rated, which is a big surprise. It's supposed to be, and Daredevil Born Again is supposed to be also. Daredevil Born Again is supposed to be TVMA. SK Dot said, I'm hoping since Deadpool 3 is rated R, Feige changes his mind and makes it R. He honestly should. I think that Disney said they would never even do a rated R film, and here we are. I think that as the MCU gets darker, if they go that route, bringing in some of the, bringing in some more of the monster side of the MCU and the mystical side of the MCU, bringing in Mephisto and Sacha Baron Cohen, if that rumor is true with Sacha Baron Cohen playing him and things like that, then you have to go darker with some of these stories. You have to show, they got away with it in Werewolf by Night because they did it in black and white. But some of that stuff, that's necessary because it's who these characters are. And that's one thing that I don't like that the MCU does, that DC doesn't have to worry about because they're not under the mouse's umbrella. That's why you get shit like Peacemaker on HBO Max. That's why you get some of the more brutal graphic scenes in some of their movies that we get, because they're not bound by the mouse. They can take that route, and they try to, at least, and I'm hoping under this new regime we see even more of it, but staying true to the character. Whereas Marvel will twist, bend, shape, throw, pick up, spit on the character, and do them however the hell they want to do the character. And that's where the conversation then, when people say, well, this isn't the comics, it has to be the MCU, okay. It may not be the comics, but you had to get this character from somewhere. Even though the MCU is not based on the comics, they still adapt from the comics. They got these characters from a place. Please try to stay true to who the character is. That's my only... I'm not upset about Yahya being in the MCU. Because he's a phenomenal actor. I love Yahya being in the MCU. But again, as we've talked about, there are black characters sitting up on shelves that are collecting dust in Marvel's vault that they don't want to use. Because they rather race bend and push whatever weirdo agenda they're trying to push right now. So, I'm sorry. I know that was a rated R question, but that you asked. But, yeah. Ultra Hero IX said, isn't it odd that Shuri didn't see her father, T'Chaka, instead seeing Killmonger? Did did that actor die too? It would have made sense to see T'Challa in the spirit world. Well, it definitely would have made sense. You know, that was something when we were talking about the plot leak a few months back. That was something we talked about. We talked about how Killmonger being in the ancestral planes made absolutely zero sense. I get it. It's where it's where their dead go. You know, I understand that. But her seeing Killmonger in the ancestral planes, let me put it that way. Her seeing Killmonger in the ancestral planes made absolutely zero sense. Absolutely zero sense. Why would in that moment would she had not seen maybe her father? That's a good question. I don't know if that actor died. It's a great question. I'm not sure. But why would she not have seen T'Chaka? Why would she have not seen her brother who she missed so much? That's something, again, you advertised. Well, Shuri's hurt because she misses her brother so much. You put in that disgusting scene in the beginning to show how hurt she was. Show her frantically going around the lab with the scientists as we, the audience, have to listen to T'Challa's heartbeat fade as they can't find a cure because you injected that real life story into that fantasy film. And if she missed him that much, why would she then not see her brother in the ancestral planes? Or her mother, who she literally just was screaming over. Instead, she saw a man that tried to murder her. For you to give some twisted logic as to why she saw him. Because I saw the thing that maybe Shuri thought that T'Challa was too noble and that her mother was too kind. And maybe she thought that Killmonger's philosophy was the way to go about it. That's what happens when you take a script that was already written and you rewrite your bullshit narratives into it. That's what happens. D. Stizzle said, "What's going on with the Witcher writer? Sounds like what's going on in the MCU." Yep. Not again 90 said a PG-rated Blade movie will always fail if it's ever decided to be done. I believe the Blade film is PG-13. It's not going to be. I've not heard anything of it being R. No hints or anything in any of the Blade news of it being R. But I guess there still is time since it got pushed back to what? Late 2023 sometime? So I don't know. We'll see. We've got Raymond 2000 said exactly. I would have liked to see that. There should have been a funeral for T'Challa and Zuri. Yes, Zuri too. Y'all just left him face down in the water. That is true. That is true. I forgot. That's true. They did just leave Zuri just. Yeah, bruh. They just left him there. Mari Adams said, real question is why we never saw Shuri and T'Chaka together. It was a missed opportunity in Wakanda Forever, and their reasoning for Killmonger didn't make sense. Nah, it didn't. That's what I was just saying. It didn't make sense at all, man. Like, I was so against that months ago when we were talking about the plot leak. I was like, bruh, if any of this shit is real, it's wild. It's wild. I would love to know who leaked that months ago. I mean, it's the same person that leaks the same Marvel subreddit that leaks all the plots. That did Multiverse of Madness, did No Way Home, did Thor: Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever, you know. So they're pretty credible. But whoever they are, they have a very close inside tip on everything going on in Marvel when it comes to the plot for films. Executive Judge said Spider-Man and Black Panther are my top 2 Marvel characters. Mine too. Those are mine too, honestly. I love Monica, but when it comes to, like, I guess my male favorites, it's those two, Spider-Man and Black Panther, are in my top 2 for sure. Spider-Man being my number 1, or Black Panther being my number 1, Spider-Man being my number 2. Last of my kin said, in order to love the Black Panther, you have to love T'Challa, and then take what you love away and give Shuri or who else he wants. Yeah, like I'm saying, that's because, again, go look at any interviews or anything that he said during the premiere for Wakanda. They don't mention T'Challa. They just don't, and they don't want to, unless it's TJ, unless it's T'Challa Jr., unless it has that JR at the end of it.
They don't talk about T'Challa. They're not doing it. It ain't happening. They don't care. And when it comes to all the plot holes, don't think about it too much. I don't know. That's honestly the only philosophy you can take. Don't think about that shit too much, because it'll give you a headache. It'll frustrate the hell out of you. We got D Stizzle that said, got to get Nate and Ryan out of the way for that to happen. Exactly. Executive Judge said, I still think they should have recasted him, but it is what it is. Yep. Last of My Kin said, in order to love the Black Panther... Oh, I read that, sorry. D Stizzle said self-sabotage. Ashra said, in order to love the Black Panther, you gotta love T'Challa. Yep. That's the exact quote from Nate Moore. Raymond 2000 said, he clearly hasn't read the comics. No. Black Politician said the way they downplayed T'Challa, his intelligence and his formidable will. This is a man who stood and spoke face to face to Galactus during his run on the Ultimates. This is a man that has so many stories so many stories, just like all these characters, so many stories that you could tell. But again, like I said, they're going to give us those stories, guys. We're getting those stories. But you're going to get them through TJ. You're getting them. It's just going to be through TJ. That's how it's going to be. Through TJ. So get ready. You're getting your T'Challa Jr. That's how it's going to work. That's it, bro. I don't care what anybody says, like about the Winston Duke shit or any of it. No. That's what it is. Let me see. D Stizzle said, that's why I never call him Black Panther. I always say T'Challa. Yep. Miss Makiba said, when they asked Khalil Thomas, Blue Box Macaroni eating ass about... Yeah, that is true. That's true. T'Challa asked if his opinion means anything to me. That was a paid interview. They paid Khalil's irrelevant, digging up them holes ass to do that interview. Obviously he's going to be in something. I mark my words. He's going to show up in some new Disney project. It may not be within the MCU. It may be. But he's going to show up in some new Disney project because that was a paid interview. He what's up, folks, all over his words. He was all over the place when he was asked about it's a mantle in the comics. It's not a mantle in the comics. At that point, the interview was over. I would have loved the interviewer to ask him about, well, what's your favorite T'Challa or what's your favorite Black Panther comic? And he would have said, oh, what? Well, they didn't give me that answer. That whole thing was staged, bro. That whole fucking bullshit, it was staged. Gray said Winston Duke probably worrying about his job too. That is also true. That is true. You know, Winston Duke is probably in that position where he's thinking about his job. And if he says the wrong thing. D Stizzle said way more people know the name T'Challa now than they did back in 2016. Yes, T'Challa was not a household name, but he has become a household name. Hungry Almighty said, honestly, I'm really hungry to see what the DC EU future is right now. When do you think we will see what their plans are after the Flash? I'm thinking immediately after the Flash. I think we're going to see it then because Gunn and Safran aren't going to want to wait. I'm sure they've been thinking about this way before it was announced that they were going to be helming DC. So I'm sure we're going to see it probably instantly after the Flash so they can get to work. Gray said Marvel won't care until the box office shows them the receipts. That's true. You got to hit them where it hurts. It's a company. Let's not forget that. That's a very good statement, Gray. Let's not forget that. This is a company. And in order for what's the saying? It's Holly business, not Hollywood, not Holly friends or whatever. Or it's show business, not show friends. It's show business, not show friends. So all that honoring our brother, that was true from within Ryan and them's perspective. No, I'm not saying it was true in the film. Their intentions were true. That didn't happen though. But they wanting to honor their brother and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, but for Marvel, it was show business. That's fine. You can do. That's why Disney. That's why Disney said to Marvel, you can handle this decision how you see fit. Knowing good damn well that Marvel was going to try to keep with their scheduled programming, so they were still going to push that film out. As Theo has also pointed out, 4 months and whatever, how many, 26, 21 something days. So they could still push that film out. Because for Disney, it's still show business. We're still going to make our money. As that was seen within the opening weekend. The film made $180 million the opening weekend. Still not as much as the first film. Again, because we've talked about that. The vibe's not there. The care's not there. The interest isn't there. And as we were pointing out last night that Gray was showing the numbers for, it's declining. The Rotten Tomato score is now at 79%. This next weekend, this coming weekend, is going to be very telling for the film. Because what's more important than anything when it comes to film, when it comes to viewership of any type? Word of mouth. People don't give a damn after they've heard it's shit, or this happens, or don't take your kids because of this. If you're dealing with grief, don't go because of this. The main character's not in it. XYZ, 1, 2, 3, don't go because of that reason. Word of mouth gets around, and you know, I understand a lot of people do like Andor. For me, I have not. I'm gonna binge it when it's done. And if you know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. But one of the things that has hurt Andor is not just that they did a character of a series over a character that's unknown to the mass Star Wars fans. You're doing it on a character that, or not doing it on a character. The word of mouth for Andor also hurt Andor. That first episode, that's why they released 3 at the beginning. They released because they knew, if we just release one, like let's even take She-Hulk, let's stay in the MCU. They released that first episode of She-Hulk. Instead, I thought they should have released 2 at once, so that, just like they did with WandaVision, so that they could have helped people ease into, after that first episode, ease into the next one, because the word of mouth after that first She-Hulk, as we all know, I didn't think that episode was bad personally, but the masses, the word of mouth around it was bad, right or wrong. And then you had to hear that for a week straight before the next episode. So for viewers that already look at for regular viewers that already look at the MCU as intimidating, because you're 30-something movies in, 8-something series is in, and I'm trying to play catch up and I haven't watched anything since Endgame, that's one element. Then you've got the other element. Of, you don't even know who the hell this character is or who this character is. Like, regular fans, again, people didn't know who Moon Knight was. I had people asking me at work, like, well, why is there a She-Hulk? Like, who is She-Hulk? Things like that, blah, blah, blah. So that's the second factor. You don't know who the character is. And then the third factor being, word of mouth for a week straight was trash on that series, on that first episode. So what then would make the average viewer want to sit down and watch that? Same thing with Wakanda Forever, for people that didn't go the opening weekend, for people that have a 9-to-5 jobs that can't go through the week. If you're hearing about all the negative backlash from Wakanda Forever for a week straight, not just from one person, but you're hearing it from this person, then you're hearing whispers over here. Well then, damn, that's the same thing that this person said. Damn, so whose daddy died? You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. So I'm assuming it's going to steadily continue to drop. Raymond 2000 said, people telling us you can't tell Marvel what to do. Meanwhile, they're over on Twitter praising James Gunn for listening to fans. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's I ignore it. Common sense is not as common as it once was. I ignore that shit. I don't even entertain it anymore. Like, I scroll, I read it, and I'm just like, they just get a scuff, because it's like whatever, bro. Like, you live in a completely different reality than most. So you stay in yours, I'll stay in mine. We'll coexist and just be fine.
Miss Makiba said, let me multitask and go retweet some recast T'Challa tweets right now. Yes, I'm telling you, stay on that recast train. D Stizzle said, I stopped trying to school them a while back. It's a lost cause. Yeah, bro. Extremely lost. Julian said, hey, bro, appreciate what you said on Twitter. Yes. No, Julian Flores. Yes, bro. I appreciate. No, that's, so Julian's referring to, because he tagged me in something where he was going back and forth with, I didn't read it. I didn't read everything that person said. I was skimming through. I'm assuming it was an anti-recaster, but they tried to tell me, I guess, that they were pro-recast. But I didn't argue with them. It's the person I was talking to you guys about at the beginning, where I just said, LMAO, go the fuck off. I don't have, my energy for recast is on this channel. I'm giving it to the audience that wants to hear about it. I'm not giving my energy for recast to some irrelevant ass motherfuckers that don't know shit for shit about this character other than what they've learned about this character from the MCU. So I don't care to argue with people that are not like that don't even know, that can't, let me put it this way. I don't care to argue with people that can't intelligently articulate to me a reason outside of Chadwick Boseman died as to why you're taking the character off the screen. I don't have the time. I cannot do it. So I ignore all of them. All of them. Last of my kin said, yeah, I had to take my subscription back from this one anti-recast because he's like, stop talking about recasting movies out. He's dead. Like, nah, man, I don't agree. Like, yeah, bro. I'm telling you. Terrell Amari said, am I the only one watching and on Twitter, hashtag recast T'Challa? I'm telling you, bro, hashtag recast T'Challa all day. Marvel, it can't slow down. My producer was talking to me about that. He was like, so what happens when this slows down? And this is what I told him. You have to understand, the story that Marvel's currently trying to tell with the Secret Wars and Secret Invasion, T'Challa plays heavy roles in the current story in the MCU that they're currently trying to tell. The hashtag's not gonna die, because when I'm watching Secret Invasion, and if depending on what heroes come up in that show, if any heroes come up at all, I would assume that some have to. Maybe, I don't know. It is the MCU. But T'Challa, because I know his Secret Invasion story. When we get closer to the Fantastic Four, but T'Challa, because I know him and Reed's relationship. When we get to the X-Men, but T'Challa, because the Omega level mutant queen that Storm is should be married to the King of Wakanda. When we get to Secret Wars, but T'Challa. I'm sorry, when we get closer to like the Time Runs Out version or whatever, however they're going to handle that. How does Time Run Out? How does Time Runs Out open? With T'Challa. At one point in Secret Wars, when we get to that part, but T'Challa, he wielded the gauntlet. And I understand we're in the MCU. They're going to tell their version of their story. But you can't say recast is going to just disappear when there's so many stories being told currently that involve T'Challa. So no, it's not going to stop. So yes, hashtag recast T'Challa. Gray said interviewers aren't allowed to ask those questions about T'Challa. No, of course not. Of course not. That was on the docket. Don't come in here asking us anything about T'Challa. Now, these interviews that I'm going to show with Nate Moore, that you can't help. But don't come in here ask us shit about T'Challa, because we're not playing that game. D Stizzle said it doesn't make logical sense at all. None. Not Again 90 said, facts, I'm definitely not watching no Pirates of the Caribbean without Johnny Depp's character. I mean, but again, they understand that. They can clearly say, well, that makes sense. That it does make sense not to have Pirates of the Caribbean, or to have Pirates of the Caribbean and not have Captain Jack Sparrow. Oh, no, you don't need T'Challa to tell, like, bro, like, nah. That's what I mean when I say I can't have a conversation with you because you don't know what you're talking about. You're talking MCU, and I can't argue with MCU fans. I just can't. And like I said, my energy is given to recast here in this space. Not to them. Can't do it. Miss Makiba said I'm sorry on the abbreviation. Is it? Oh, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Process has been very first Thanksgiving as a vegan in a family with a you can just eat salad right attitude. Yeah, yeah, I feel that too. I feel that too. Ashra said, you can Ray Mary Sue for Star Wars. Darius. I love Star Wars, man. Julian said, James Gunn knows DC fans want Ben Affleck, not Michael Keaton, as Batman. Like, honestly, for real, yes. And I know there's people out there that don't like Affleck's version. That's personally my favorite screen version of Batman, and I thought Affleck did a good job. You know, especially with, I mean, you have to understand he's doing with what he's written. And honestly, if we would have gotten that Ben Affleck solo Batman film that Rob Pattinson took over, that was going to be between him and Deathstroke, sorry. I think that would have been dope. I really do. And Affleck, from what we know, loved that script. Gray said, talking common sense. Stamina said, big old facts. Astra said, 10 to 15 years, wait for T'Challa. Some will be dead by then or bored. Yep, won't care anymore. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. There are people that have been waiting for this character on screen for 50 plus years. So it's a very selfish approach for Marvel to just say, nah, we've got to think pockets. Again though, it's show business. It ain't show friends. They don't give a damn about these people they ain't never met. They don't give a damn about the viewer that's just another ticket to them. That's just another ticket to Marvel. Yes, they call us fans, but we are just another ticket. You are just another ticket in an aisle, in the theater, sitting in a seat. That's it. They don't care. K-Dot said, yeah, I'm not going to engage with anti-recast people. I can't, man. Gray said mental health care is important. Yep. Yeah, it is. That's another reason why I gotta stay away from these anti-recasters, because the mental health aspect that I'm just like, bro, y'all are exhausting. Like how they call recasters exhausting. No, y'all are exhausting. Like, it is wild. Some of the takes that are like I'm talking hot takes on Twitter that some people have. I'm like, bro, let me just go ahead and just block you so I don't see no more of your shit. Raymond 2000 said, Chadwick Boseman was Chadwick Boseman. Do y'all think his family called him T'Challa? Did they call him Jackie? Did they call him Thurgood? What was his character's name in 21 Bridges? They didn't call him none of that shit but Chadwick. It's only weirdo Marvel fans, MCU fans, coming in here saying T'Challa is Chadwick. It's only those people that have been brainwashed by Marvel into believing that this man who actually lived a life, a real life, and died, a real life that this character was created before he was even born and passed away, is this person. And there are people that really, like, marinate on that. Like, marinate on that shit. There are people that really believe that. Yeah, I can't. Raymond 2000 said, I find it weird that we make these actors their characters based on how good they play them. Not Again 90 said, no, he's not. Chadwick is simply Chadwick. Yep. D Stizzle said, yo, I'd be down to see that for various reasons. I don't know I don't remember what I said that on that one. D Stizzle said, DJ Deuce said, exactly, Wonder Man is a joke. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, keep Wonder Man, bro. Do you know, like if you really want to play, because we know why they're bringing in Wonder Man. We know why they're bringing in Wonder Man. Because of Wanda. Because of the relationship that Wanda has with Wonder Man. Excuse me. And the relationship that it ties into with the love triangle between her, Vision, and Wonder Man, and Simon. But I've seen some people using that theory. Then bring in Brother Voodoo. Like, again, average viewers don't know who the fuck Simon Williams is either. But most people or may not remember. She was in a relationship with Brother Voodoo. Brother Voodoo was supposed to show up at in the post-credit scene for Doctor Strange, or his brother was. His brother was supposed to show up in the post-credit scene for Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange, which alluded more to Brother Voodoo. So if you really want to go that route, you can have Yaya playing one of those black characters.
Just, I mean, I don't, that's just my opinion. My humble opinion. Raymond 2000 said representation isn't just black people being in movies and films. It's creating these black characters, putting them on screen, and giving them the equal time and treatment in this universe. That's exactly what it is. It's like we've looked at. We've shown the screen time of, you know, the black actors in the MCU. For those that may not know, I'll go ahead and say it again. And this, I always use this one because it's wild to me. Idris Elba was in the first Thor, Thor 2, Dark World, Ragnarok, Love and Thunder, Infinity War. 15 minutes in the MCU. That all brings to 15 minutes. And then they want to say, but you have representation in the MCU. That is such an insult to my intelligence when you say that, though, because it's like, bruh, again, you're not talking to no little kids. That's not representation. I want to see my black heroes having first films, second films, third films, completely arced out. As I use the example all the time, we got to see Tony from start to finish. We saw him be the playboy, billionaire, philanthropist that he is. We saw him fall in love with Pep. We saw him have that relationship be what it was throughout a various multitude of his films and cameos that they both showed in. We saw him eventually marry Pep. We saw him ready to die for Pep. We saw him have a child in a life with that woman from his that was introduced in his first film. We saw a complete story for Tony Stark. Tell me shit about Heimdall. He shouldn't have been playing Heimdall anyway. Let's just put that out there. Idris Elba should have never been playing Heimdall from the beginning. Another black man in a white man's story. So tell me shit about Heimdall, since we have so much black representation. Besides Sam constantly being on Cap's left, tell me shit about Sam. Other than that, he's a broke Avenger that can't get a fucking bank loan, that's getting stopped in the street by police. Tell me shit about Sam. What's another one? Tell me shit about Nick. What representation have we gotten with Nick Fury? Besides him just being the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Him getting his eye scratched out, the backstory we got in Captain Marvel, kick rocks. Give me some representation. Where is it? Everyone says it's always there. It's there. You got that weirdo dude on Twitter, Taskmaster, whatever the fuck his name is, that posted that tweet. You got all this representation. You posting a picture of a black character in the MCU is not fucking representation. That's the conversation that needs to be being had within our own community too. Because some of our own people are brainwashed into believing if you put a speck on screen, you put a Don Cheadle in Ocean's 11 or whatever the fuck Oceans he shows up in, that's representation. That ain't representation. Like, it's weird. It's weird. You got Raymond that said, for this Agatha series, I better see Franklin Richards make a universe and destroy it. That might be some very, very wishful thinking. I don't know if we're going to get a Franklin at all. I don't know what is it. Mamba 85DT. I hope I said that right. Hope we see the OG Squadron Supreme in the MCU. It was too soon for them to recast. I would love to see the Squadron Supreme just in general showing up in the MCU. Esco Royalty said, wait, Namor really getting his own franchise? Well, we didn't make it to that. We didn't make it to that. But that is the rumor here, is that they have really big plans for Namor and moving forward. But this is something we've all talked about.
We talked about that with all the emphasis that they put on Namor. With all the Namor was the top, as well he should have been. He's a brand new character, and he's a very interesting character when it comes to Marvel Comics, and not just that, his relationship to T'Challa. But we talked about that with all the emphasis that they put on Namor at the premiere and everything like that. Yes, it looks like Namor might be getting his own series. That's what they said about that. And I'll continue to read the comments after I read this for you. It says at the beginning of the year, Bleeding Cool reported that they had heard that Namor's debut in Black Panther Wakanda Forever to set up an upcoming franchise focused on the Talokan anti-hero. I am told that Marvel Studios considers Namor's appearance in Black Panther 2 to be akin to Black Panther's appearance in Civil War, to set up an upcoming franchise. The rumor painted the picture of Namor as a staple. Let's rewind that. The rumor painted the picture of Namor as a staple of the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. In a separate article from Total Film, when asked about the potential of Namor to cross over into projects or spin-offs, Tanaka Huerta, I can't say his last, Huerta, sorry, joked that he wants a bigger contract. I hope so, because I want a bigger contract. I want more zeros in my contract. No, I'm joking. He's not. I mean, the mythology around Namor is huge. You can be crazy with all the cultural aspects and you can create a lot of things with Namor because they take fantastic sources of stories and mythology and religion and everything. So I hope they decide to keep going with the character past its own story or whatever. On the red carpet event for Wakanda Forever, when asked about the potential of Namor to get his own film, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige candidly replied, "We'll see. Depends on Black Panther." So what are some possible timelines that Namor could branch out into starting a franchise? There it is. But we've talked about this. We've talked about the potential of Namor having his own franchise with the emphasis being put on Namor. I mean, Namor is an important character moving into Secret Wars. Obviously, we all know that. But, yeah, Namor looks like he's getting his own franchise. You know, I remember Kevin Feige being asked that question at the Wakanda Forever premiere, and he said that, yeah, it depends on Black Panther. And he meant that. It depends on how well Namor is received by the masses in Black Panther. And depending on that is going to be and I'm sure how much Black Panther Wakanda Forever makes, but depending on that is also going to be depending on, I don't think it's like heavy dependent upon it, because I still believe with Namor playing the role that he plays in the Secret War story they're needing to tell, they're going to move forward with those plans. Like Tanakh, I'm be honest, Tanakh was great as Namor, although I didn't give a shit after that first scene, but he was still great as Namor. Let's see. We've got Raymond 2000 said, I had a friend who said, man, they really killed T'Challa in a respectful way. He's been blocked since. Yeah, man, I've seen, a lot of those. Let's see. Get to some of these people here. Oh, Havoc Unbound. I appreciate the super chat, bro. I really do. He said, how would you feel if we got Azari as a variant? Well, I don't know. Here we go with the variant talks again. I know, I've seen some people saying, what's wrong with a variant? Why would you be upset with a variant? A variant wouldn't be bad. Like I said last night, I don't want to... An Azari, though. You're not saying T'Challa. You're saying Azari. Man. No. I mean, well, honestly, that's fine. That's fine. I wouldn't mind it. I honestly wouldn't mind it. It would be, I could handle that one. But like I said, I would still need T'Challa back. But I could handle that one. And what way would they use him, though? That would be the adding to that question. In what way would they use him? Like, what is he coming into our universe to do? Why is he here and not his father? Like, I don't know. Let me see. Answer some of these up here. D-Real, appreciate you being here, bro. Recast T'Challa. We got Stamina MC that said show business, the literal business of show, pretense for profit. Yeah, there you go, bro. Holly Weird, Ashura said. Cornelius said people are sort of weaponizing Shuri. Hold on, sorry, this chat keeps moving. Let me go back up to what Cornelius said. Okay. People are sort of weaponizing Shuri intentionally to cast a negative shadow against those who want to see the real T'Challa. Yeah, because that's the only thing. These anti-recasters keep using the same logics. It's either you're being misogynistic, you don't have a heart, or who cares what you want? If you want it that way, go make your own movie. Like those are the same recycled arguments that they all share. That's it. And that's it. Like it's like, well, there's a woman. You guys don't want a woman as BP. Oh, and my favorite. This is my favorite. Well, she's BP in the comics, knowing good damn well if you ask them, name one of them. They without Google, like obviously you can't tell because they'd be able to Google it, but they couldn't name that shit without looking it up. They are quick to say what they've heard. They're quick to say because they've watched a Miss Mojo video. Top 20 facts about T'Challa. Top 20 facts about Wakanda and Black Panther. They watch those videos and they try to use the knowledge that they gained in that 5 minutes on Twitter as a valid argument. And that's why I don't have the energy for them. I won't give them that energy. That's why anytime I'm just like, go the fuck off, bro. You're right. Hey. Go off. You got it. Ashura said, why isn't Shuri a mutant Atlantean for a mixed cocktail or a dead herbs with Allegra? Or what is that? Algian. Let me see. Mamba85 DT said the movie versions are different from the comic book characters. See the difference. Yeah, they are different. They're their own guys. CJ Velasquez said, yo dude, Disney and Marvel will try making Deadpool 3 more rated PG-13 and Deadpool will team up with Wolverine and Fantastic Four, and eventually they'll bring back MCU Blade movie right on track for good. Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to get, especially like we said, with Mahershala being more heavily involved with the direction of the Blade film, I think that they're going to get it on track and get it in a direction that he wants it to go, because they should take him being the actor, being an Academy Award winning, Marvel, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the comics, Marvel's only Academy Award winning actor in the MCU. Yeah, I think they definitely need to be listening to what he wants. I think they need to take that into consideration. Not Again 90 said, I kind of hope with Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars we get new Captain Marvel. I'm not feeling Brie Larson at all. Nothing about her screams superhero. I'll tell you what, I saw an interview with Brie Larson that I felt bad for her in. I felt really bad for Brie Larson in that interview, and it was because it was Variety. You know, the guy the main interview dude from Variety that's always on the red carpet. He asked Brie Larson a question about the Marvels, and she looked at the camera. She looked at him, but then looked at the camera. She goes, I don't know. Do people want to see me back? I don't know. And I felt bad for her because the conversation around, just her portrayal of Carol, and I mean, I don't know. Who wrote the first? Who wrote Captain Marvel? I don't even know who wrote that. I guess I would always say, I guess it depends on who's writing them. Because we've all had the conversations that we like T'Challa vastly more in Civil War than we do in BP. In his own film, which I still like him in his own film, but I'm more akin to the Civil War version. But I don't know. Like I said, I felt bad for her in that moment. I hope that she hopefully gets it together, but you're not the only one that's not feeling Brie as Carol. D. Stizzle said, I'd argue most DC and Marvel superheroes are definitely serious, but still fun. The lighthearted aspect works with some of them too. Yeah, it does. Like I said, when Marvel throws in that humor aspect, like they hit, bro. It depends though. Like lately here, like Thor Love and Thunder, that didn't hit. That didn't hit. But let's take Ragnarok, for example. it was a serious tone. You knew what was going on, but they still threw the funny in there. Like even at the very beginning, when Thor is when Chris Hemsworth is talking, or Thor, sorry, when Thor is talking, and he says, you know, he's turning and he sees he's a son of a bitch. You're alive, you know. So it's like that. It was serious at the beginning, but then he says that, and then you have the whole even the scene between him and Hulk. Like, he's a friend from work. It was funny, and it worked. And then it instantly jumped to him getting his ass beat, and then him beating Hulk's. Like, I'm like, yeah, like, when Marvel does it correctly, it works. For sure. Let's see. Havoc Unbound said, well, since Marvel is dropping the ball with T'Challa, this could be a good opportunity for DC to introduce Red Lion to the films. Maybe DC could do this type of character right. Possibly. 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 Let me see. I'm going to jump to some of the newer comments because I know that you guys are down here in the bottom. Nicole 9600 said Brie Larson has an Academy Award for Room. Oh, does she? Okay, that's what I said. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so she does. Levon said, assuming M'Baku becomes king after Wakanda Forever, how does that play out with T'Challa Jr.? It's a good question. It's a very good question. And what I have to say to that is, what I'm assuming they are going to do is just have M'Baku, because I adored and honored your father so much, I'm going to rightfully give the throne to you. That's some Marvel MCU shit that they would do. I'm sure. Something akin to that, along those lines. Let me see. I'll start with Gray here at the top. Variants suck. They're used as cameos and then they are done. That's why, I'm not really on the big variant thing as when it comes to T'Challa. I like seeing the variants, but I'm not big on that part there. Official EMG said top 5 black characters in Marvel in your opinion. T'Challa, Monica, Adam. Those last 2 spots. I'm going to give one to Storm in the last spot. The last one, I'm going to give it, because I personally like her, don't care. If, this is my top 5. I'm giving it to Misty. Raymond 2000 said, someone tried to tell me since my favorite show is, or Bishop. Erase my 5th spot. Let me think on my 5th spot. Someone tried to tell me since my favorite show is The West Wing, that they killed off a character because the actor died in real life, and I'm like, the show was ending. Yeah, like, again, people's logics, bro. Be a blessing. Appreciate you being here. Said right. Kenny Pierce said 16 little issues out of 100. Is it 16? Are we talking about Shuri? I thought Shuri had 12. Is it 16? I haven't read those in a long time. Is it 16? Refresh my memory. Stamina MC said, as of now, we have no reason to even believe variants will serve the lasting purpose in the prime timeline. Gamora is elsewhere until next summer. Loki is literally outside the timeline. That's true. And Gamora, help me on her name, that plays Gamora. I can't believe I'm forgetting her name. She was asked recently about will we see Gamora again after Guardians 3, and she said she didn't know. She's always open to come back, and now she could be pulling on Andrew Garfield. But she said she didn't know. Mesa said, appreciate you being here. All I say to anyone anymore is William Hurt says hi. Yeah? You know how quick they did that. The same quickness that they did with that was the same quickness that Nate Moore was talking about with when they didn't. Speaking of Nate Moore, I said I was going to show that. Let me show that. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. Let me show that. Let's watch this one first. Hold on. Before we watch that, let me touch these last down here. Let me see if there's anybody. Happy Sat Central said, check out views from 616 BP2 All-Star Review. Felt like they were trying to ambush E-Man. You know, I'll say this again. I'm not going in on that, but I'm gonna say this. I feel like every time E's on there, he's getting ambushed. Like the very first time he was on there, it felt like he was. Yeah, they were having a conversation. I understand. I get it. Yeah, that's how interviews go and things like that. But I was just like, don't they know him? Or, never mind. Let me stop. Sorry. I'm not going there. Sorry. No drama. There's nothing to, there's just things that I viewed. I'm not, anyway. Silver Wishes says, I'm rooting for the Marvels. Honestly, I am too. I'm looking forward to it. Asher said, you don't want a woman BP, or you don't want a woman as BP is my favorite attack. Yeah, that's that one. And then again, following it up with, well, she becomes Black Panther in the comics. ADC TW said, you got to recast. The problem with recast T'Challa. The video was hilarious. Or react. Or we got to react. Okay, I got to watch it. I'll find it. D Stizzle said, look, Don Cheadle will be eligible for Social Security by the time Armor Wars drops. Okay. So let me show you guys. Let's play this. Justin Ricardo said, I can't even talk to my own friends about this because of how brainwashed they are. This is the only space I can vent my rage about recast. I'm telling you. That's why I like coming in here and talking with you guys about recasts. So I don't waste my energy on anti-recasters, because it is an exhausting conversation. Because we repeat the same shit every day. And I'm going to continue to repeat the same shit every day. But we say the same shit every day because we're trying to burn it in some of these people's brains. We're trying to have conversations literally with brick walls, bro. Like, save your Twitter fingers, honestly. Use them for something else. Follow funny accounts. Look at some of the... I can't. Let's see. Official MG said he wants Marvels to succeed as well. So do I, bro. I do. Be a Blessing said Captain Marvel movie was awful, but she was good in Endgame. Yeah, she was good in Endgame. Try to see something I haven't seen. Arcs4 said Nate Moore out here like Meek Mills. DJ Jinx 1 said, I heard part of the story for Blade was that he was going to get replaced by his daughter. Yes, that was in it. Yep, that was in it. In the first movie. I hope that part gets rewritten too. That was in it. Yes, sir. D Stizzle always liked Comic Carol, but the film did her character no favors, and Brie is mad to me. I said, bro, I'm not the biggest Brie fan of how she interprets Carol either. I just really felt bad for her when she turned to the camera. It's like, I don't know. Do they want me back? I was like, damn. That's sad. That means that she has combed through tweets of people saying you suck as Carol Danvers. Get out the MCU. All the things that have been said about her. Yes, Raymond, they were going to replace Blade. RW Chi-Town said that's exactly how I feel. Raymond said, yeah, they absolutely ambushed him. Yeah, I feel like they... No, okay. Zoe Zadana. Thank you, Stamina. Stamina always comes with the names, and so did Executive Judge. Appreciate you guys. Yes, Zoe Zadana. See, I can say her name. I said her name. Okay. So now I've read some of those. Appreciate all the chats, guys. Wait a minute. Did I miss Ant-Man? Ant-Man, was that you? Ant-Man 1991 said, if the rumor of Doctor Strange's death in Secret Wars is true, then they can introduce Brother Voodoo in Doctor Strange 3. They can. He does become the Sorcerer Supreme. At one point, he holds that title. They can. So let's see. Let's jump into what Namor said. So, yeah, let's listen. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one I said I wanted you guys to listen to first.
Just the man I want to see. I want to see everybody but you on my list, sir. It's your fault that I cried twice. It's your fault. and not the regular cry. I'm talking about the cry where you can't like swallow a cry.
Sure.
Like, I had one of those. It's your fault, man. So you gotta explain yourself.
That fucking laugh.
Day one.
Yep.
When it first lands into your lap, what is day one's first priority? Is it story, fans, legacy, cast? Like the moment that it hits you, I've always been curious. What's the day one thought to you?
It's story. It's always story. It has to be, because everything else will follow. Fans will follow. Cast will follow. If you really believe in a story and have a story that feels emotional and real and organic, everyone else is going to come. And I think sometimes fans especially can be very vocal about what they think they want. And I think that's fine. I respect that. But you have to kind of block that out, because sometimes you have to give them the best version of the story. And a lot of times I think they go, oh, actually, I wanted that all along. I think fans just want you to respect the source material. I think fans just want you to be a fan of the thing they love as they are. And sometimes that comes across as, hey, do it like this. But what they're really saying is, just don't let me down, man.
Oh my God.
Don't let me down. So
Oh
as long
my
as you're trying
God.
not to let them down, I think you're in good shape.
I think what's so special about what you did was because I'm watching it from both views, and I'm like, okay, this got to be the hardest film to make. How do I please everybody?
It's not.
But
Romeo.
like you said, stay to the story, stay to the material, and make it authentic as possible. What was your challenge through the process?
I think the challenge was twofold. Logistically, this is the hardest movie we've ever tried to make. Between the scope of the storytelling, all
By
the
your
water
own
stuff,
doing.
all the VFX stuff, like it was a monster. And Ryan is a very smart storyteller, but he likes things big. Like he wanted people to feel immersed, and that sort of demand for detail is tough, but it's worth it. But the other thing, obviously, is the emotional side of the process was real. People who experienced a loss had to make a movie about that loss.
They
Part
didn't.
of my job is making sure people feel okay when they're offset, when they walk
No,
out.
that's where you
Like,
get
don't
grief
forget
counselors
that.
in as a studio.
Because I think sometimes when we judge art, we remove the personal from it and say, well, why didn't they just do this? The personal is it's intertwined. Unfortunately, it's always going to be intertwined, and the best art is intertwined, and you have to understand that people are making the art, and people have real lives and feelings, and that is as much a part of filmmaking as anything else.
Well, great job. Over
Not
2
in
handkerchiefs.
fantasy.
Popcorn, man, when I see you, man. Yeah, you know that right now.
Not in fantasy. Not in fantasy do people want to see their real lives. Why is that so hard to understand? I want to take it back. Let me take it back. Just because I want to do this. I want to do this. So we listened to it there, right? So everybody just heard it. Everybody heard that. Was it loud enough? Was it clear enough? I hope it was loud enough. Everybody heard it there. So let's take it here now. I just turned it up. So if it was too low, sorry. But let's take it here and break this down just a little bit by little bit.
And not the regular cry. I'm talking about the cry where you can't like swallow a cry.
Sure.
Like, I had one of those.
Romeo obviously enjoyed himself.
Your fault, man. So you gotta explain yourself. Day one.
Yep.
When it first lands into your lap, what is day one's first priority? Is it story, fans, legacy, cast? Like the moment that it hits you, I've always been curious. What's the day one thought to you?
It's story. It's always story.
Okay. So, day one thought for him is story. It's always story. You just heard it come out of his mouth. If day one story is, well, no. If day one story is always story, and this film was supposed to honor your brother, your colleague, and friend. Now, what they did at the beginning of the film, showing even though we've seen it before, but seeing it in Wakanda, seeing it before that film, showing the Marvel Studios logo, but it all being made up of Chadwick's scenes as T'Challa in the MCU, with no sound. What a way to honor him. That's where I will give you, okay, that honors him. That's what you need to do. You know, it was K-Dot that pointed out they need to put that in for the next few years on Marvel films at the beginning. Let that be the way you honor Chad. Let that be the way that you want to keep his legacy remembered. Put that at the beginning of Secret Wars. Put it at the of every Marvel film coming out that you've got. Put it out there until you feel you've honored enough. And then you can switch it back to the way you want to do it. But if again, for the person you're trying to honor, your brother, your colleague, friend, if story's the day one thing that you're focused on, the way I've said this before, to honor Chadwick Boseman, because I got told earlier, Chadwick Boseman has never talked about anyone replacing him or taking on. No, he's never said those words, but he has always said that he wants to pass the baton. He has also said that he does not like the conversation around there can only be one. These interviews are out there. These receipts are in place. It is up to you to go and find them. So why not take what your brother wanted to do and take the film that he helped write? I feel like that was even disrespectful. You took that man's last piece of work and said, "Be damned. Fuck it. We're not going to honor you in that way. This is your last piece of work that you could give to Marvel, and we're erasing it and saying your what you wanted, be damned." Why? Because they thought to themselves, we can profit off of this man's death, off of this story here, by injecting it into the film. They really thought that grief and pain would put more asses in the seats than the franchise's main character continuing the story we last left him at in his first film. So if story's the most important thing, that's lie number one in a 3-minute Nate Moore video. Story can't be the first thing. That's not the first thing you thought about. That's bullshit to me, because you had a story, a very real story that the man you claim to honor helped you make. Lie number one. Let's look for lie number two.
It has to be, because
There it was. It has to be, because he doesn't believe that shit. No, that's not lie number two.
fans will follow. Cash will follow. If you really believe in a story and have a story that feels emotional and real and organic, everyone else is going to come.
Okay. For him to just say here, to have a story that feels emotional, real, and organic, everyone else is going to come. Nate, look at your numbers from BP1 to to Wakanda Forever. The math ain't fucking mathin', Nate. The math is not mathin'. You're talking about emotions gonna put asses in the seat? You think grief is gonna put asses in the seats? You know, somebody said this is a new way to be teaching us about grief. No, that was Eric Voss's ass. This is a new way to teach us about grief. Wakanda Forever teaches us about grief. Here's something that maybe everybody didn't know. I don't know. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. If you want to learn about grief in the black community, if you find that fascinating, weirdly, if you think that that's something that you might be interested in, that you want to sit down and pay to watch, the Emmett Till movie is in theaters right now. You can go watch them drag that little boy out of bed for allegedly whistling at that white woman, shooting him in his head,
We're about to get graphic with it because you want to see that grief. You want to be emotional? Shooting him in his head after torturing him, cutting off his male parts, torturing that little boy, scaring him and his family before shoving him in the fucking lake, the river. You want trauma? You want to learn about black trauma? Go watch that. I don't, man, I've said it. I don't watch Marvel films for you to tell me, somebody who lives in this community, about the 400 plus years of trauma and grief that we've been going through. I don't need to. So many of our actual heroes are gone. So many of our actual heroes that Chadwick himself played. Jackie is gone. Thurgood is gone. James Brown is gone. Other black heroes are gone. How dare you take the one fantasy hero we have? So no. Again, that's not gonna put asses in the seats. Grief, pain, torture, that doesn't put asses in the seats. Unfortunately, Black Adam faced and suffered the fate that it did. It was a great film, but as far as numbers go, people weren't putting their asses in the seats for Black Adam. But I'll tell you this, Black Adam, Wakanda forever. Because when I go see a superhero film, the plot for Black Adam, I will continue to say, was shit. But the action, everything surrounding it, Aldous Hodges as Hawkman, that shit was what I sit down in fantasy comic book films for. Not for you to remind me of the world outside my window, morbidly twisted in Kevin Feige's words. Fuck you. No. So no, that shit, that's lie number 2, because that shit doesn't put asses in anybody's seats. Unless you're going to watch a real-life biopic like the Emmett Till one. If I want films like that, I will pull up 12 Years a Slave. Hell, I'll watch the Roots series if I want to be traumatized from within my community. Let's look for lie number 3.
And I think sometimes fans especially can be very vocal about what they think they want. And I think that's fine. I respect that. But you have to kind of block that out because sometimes...
Boom! Bingo! Yahtzee! There it is! What were we talking about with James Gunn earlier? James Gunn and DC having their ear to the ground. What did Nate Moore just said? I think sometimes you have to block that out because fans sometimes think they know what they want. No, brother. When I wake up and I decide what I want to eat, it ain't because I know what I want to do. I know what I want. From day to day, when I make a decision, I know what I want. Don't think that you know what I want as a fan. Fans have been saying, because he's very well aware of recast. They are very well aware that this movement exists. Fans are telling you what they want. Fans have expressed over and over, time and time again, we want T'Challa back on the screen. It's not misogynistic. It has nothing to do with that. It has people saying the film is made. Get over it. No fucking shit, bro. We know the film is made. We're not talking about him showing up in this film. So no, we don't think we know what we want. We know what we want. We want the franchise's main character. And then for him to follow that up with, sometimes you have to block that out, lets me know again, they have no plans to recast T'Challa. They are blocking it out literally. He's telling you in these interviews. You know how they say you gotta read between the lines? He may not have just come out and flat out said, we're ignoring recast. But he is alluding to the fact that we are not listening to what the recast crowd has to say. We don't care what the recast crowd has to say. I don't care how many interviews Nate Moore gets in and stumbles over his words trying to articulate and dance around the real question of why T'Challa's not on screen. Like, it's there, bro. Like, I'm telling you, it's there. This is not a lie. I just want to stop that. We're still searching for lie 3, but I promise you, it's coming up.
You have to give them the best version of the story. And a lot of times, I think they go, oh, actually, I wanted that all along. They just...
Lie number 3. There it is. Excuse me. Sorry. Did not mean to do that right in the microphone. That was lie number 3. There it is. That's what I wanted all along. No, the fuck it. What? No. When I left
when I left the film after Ramonda's death, not one time back to the lobby did I think to myself, oh, there it was. That's what I wanted. Oh, there it was. This film is exactly what I wanted. No, this film was the opposite, the complete opposite of what I wanted. Not bringing in T'Challa, killing him in a morbid, digitized funeral that you told people, that you had people dressing up for and paying for. Literally, you dressed up and paid for a funeral. Let that marinate. You literally dressed up and paid for a funeral, a digitized, morbid funeral injected into a Marvel film. Let that really marinate for a minute. So at no point did anyone that is pro recast, because that's what he's talking about. He's just not saying recast. But again, we know what he's talking about. He's talking directly to this group that might think to themselves, oh, that's what I wanted. That's why I said recast T'Challa has to stay hard pressed. Recast T'Challa has to stay hard pressed. It cannot stop. Because when they start to believe that lie, you know, they say when you tell a lie enough times, you eventually start to believe the lie that you've told. So when he continues to tell these lies, that's why it's becoming so much easier for Nate Moore to lie from one interview to the next. Like I said, he's at home right now thinking of new lies. But that's why it's so easy for him to think of one lie to the next, because it's become such a daily routine for him that he's starting to believe the shit he's saying. Oh, they actually really did like this movie. Oh, maybe it is Black Panther and not T'Challa and the things I said in 2018. It's the constant trying to keep up with the one lie from the next. So that was lie number 3. Let's search for number 4.
I think fans just want you to respect the source material.
Oh, no shit.
Fans just want you to be as big of a fan of the thing they love as they are. And sometimes...
And see, I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but this right there, this is that when I say Nate Moore knows how to play the game, and of course he should know how to play the game. He's in show business, so he should know how to play the game. But this is what I mean when I say Nate Moore knows how to play the game. Like fans, like just what he just said, they want to feel like you actually care about the source material and care about the thing that they care about, while at the same time not caring about the thing that fans are caring about. Like, he plays this game so well to make it seem like, oh, we are listening, but I'm going to say in the interviews that we're listening, but at the same time, I'm going to let you know we're also blocking that out because we're going to go our own route. Like, it's hold on, what else, what was the last thing he said on that?
That comes across as, hey, do it like this. But what they're really saying is, just don't let me down, man. Like, I love this stuff. Don't let me down. So,
see what I'm saying? See that right there? Like, look at that shit.
But what they're really saying is, just don't let me down, man. Like, I love this stuff. Don't let me down. So,
just don't let me down, man. Like, bro, I'm telling you. It's a game for it. It's a game. It's a game, but he has to be the one to come out here and do this because, again, like people have been saying, well, let's give Nate Moore credit. He did usher BP into the MCU. I don't give a damn if he ushered BP into the MCU. I don't give a damn if that man ushered. I will give him his little pat on the back for it. But what the things you stood on when you ushered him into the MCU are not the same principles you stand on now. Your logic then is not your same logic now. In order to love the Black Panther, you have to first love T'Challa is not your logic now, because you won't even say the brother's name. Nah.
As long as you try not to let him down, I think you're in good shape.
I think what's so dope about what you did was, because I'm watching it from both views, and I'm like, okay, this got to be the hardest film to make. How do I please everybody?
Yeah.
But like you said, stay to the story, stay to the material, and make it authentic as possible. What was your challenge through the process?
I think the challenge was twofold. Logistically, this is the hardest movie we've ever tried to make. between the scope of the storytelling, all of the water stuff, all the VFX stuff, like it
I'm gonna go up to what Misa said there when she was talking about all the water. When he's talking about all the water stuff, the previous time we listened to it, I did see the comments she made there. James Cameron literally just made a whole ass film where he practically, like she said, her words, where he practically drowned his actors and actresses. That whole movie it's the way of water. Is it really that hard for Marvel Studios, arguably not even arguably, the most successful studio in the world at the moment, to do an underwater scene? Interesting. I get what he says when he says it was difficult, because, even I just listened to Deny on The Daily Show. Trevor Noah was interviewing her, and she said, she's still dealing with the pulled muscle in her shoulder from scenes that she had to do and things like that. So I get it. Yeah, they obviously their bodies do go through things as, as actors and actresses in these type of films. But if, like Misa said, if James Cameron can do a whole 3 hours and his whole film is underwater, you better come up with something better, Nate, for you to be the most powerful studio in the world.
It was a monster, and Ryan is a very smart storyteller, but he likes things big. Like he wanted people
and
to
dead,
feel immersed.
big and dead.
That sort of demand for detail is tough, but it's worth it. But the other thing, obviously, is the emotional side of the process was real. People who experienced a loss had to make a movie about that loss.
There's lie number 4. People who experienced a loss had to make a movie about that loss. Fast 7? They didn't make a movie about that loss. They did not make a movie. That movie was the ending was dedicated to Brian. The ending was dedicated to Paul Walker. Brian being the character he played. However, they did not morbidly write his car accident into that film. That just didn't happen. We still had him in the film. So, and some people's arguments may be, well, they already filmed things with Paul Walker before he passed. That's a good argument, and that is very true. But again, just because T'Challa is not in this film does not then mean the only other explanation to his absence is he has to be 6 feet under the ground. No. You could have done anything. So, just because the actors and actresses experience a loss, and again, rightfully so, they have every right to feel the way they feel because that's their brother, but feel that way away from the franchise. Because if you can't come back to the franchise and actually be healed of your emotion, what did Drake say? Time heals all? If you can't leave the project, mourn, get everything out that you need to get out, then come back to work. Because if I have something tragic happen in my life, my job is going to give me leeway. But once the proper, and I don't know if there is a proper amount of time to heal, I would say no. But once enough time has passed within the world, my job is then going to expect me to come back to work and start where I left off. Business as usual. You as an actor, as an actress, as a producer and director, if you can't do that and you're a storyteller, you're storytellers. You as actors and actresses are portraying people that you don't, that aren't, some people that are fantasy and some that are actually real. And you do also know that when you put down the role, the next person will pick it up. So knowing that, why is it that you have to make a movie based on the real life tragedies that you've experienced? Lie number 4, you don't have to do that. They didn't have to make a movie based off of their true life experiences, because that's not the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
There's not one instance in any other Marvel film where we have injected real life tragedy into the film. And it has to be the way it is. And put that tragedy on a character. So again, lie number 4. You don't have to do that. Are we gonna make it to 5 before the end of the video?
Part of my job is making sure people feel okay when they're on set.
That might be 5.
But it's not that we don't forget that part of it. Because I think sometimes when we judge art, we remove the personal from it and say, well, why didn't they just do this? The personal is it's intertwined. Unfortunately, it's always going to be intertwined, and the best art is intertwined.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to call this one a lie, but I am going to stop him there. The personal is intertwined. I guess when I think the personal is intertwined with a film, I think the personal of what the writer, director, and whoever else is involved, what they put into the film, the work they put into the film. I believe that would be more of the personal that's intertwined. You care so much and have so much passion about a project that you've been working for as a director or writer for years before you even presented it to a studio. So I think that would be the personal that would be intertwined. But personal in a fantasy world should never be intertwined. Again, when you have films like 12 Years a Slave, or films or series like Roots, or the Underground series, or anything like that, those are things that you can have the personal intertwined with. But in a fantasy film where you're taking little kids to sit down and watch a hero that they love, a hero that they've had funerals for with their action figures, then have to sit down and then actually be inserted into that said funeral, is wildly wicked to me. It's crazy. Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure that was 5, but I wanted to stop him.
And you have to understand that people are making the art. And people have real lives and feelings, and that is as much a part of filmmaking as anything
Be a
else.
blessing said that's 5.
Well, great job. You owe me 2 handkerchiefs and some popcorn, man, when I see you, man. Yeah, you know that right now.
Okay, so yeah, that's that one. We found, we'll go ahead and say 5. 5 lies in 3 minutes and 25 seconds from Nate Moore. 5 absolute lies from Nate Moore. That's interview number 1. Now let's check this one out.
A lot has been made of your somewhat infamous interview regarding recasting T'Challa.
Infamous, oh boy.
Nate, congratulations on the film.
Oh, thank you, man.
It's such an emotionally heavy film and beautiful as well. How did you seek creatively to find the balance?
Ashra, what the hell? Hold on. I want to hear this. Can anybody else collaborate with that? Did Ashra, did Grace say BP1 is like Roots? No. And she still has a... No. She didn't say that shit. I'm looking at the chat. I'm sorry. I'm trying to... Grace said yes, she did. Somebody send me that video. I need to see... Did she really? And she still has a whole ass platform? Wow. BP1 is like... Why is she speaking on Roots? Never mind. This is not a Grace Randolph video. Hold on. Okay, anyway. Let's finish hearing what Nate Moore said here.
Something that's an homage to Chadwick Boseman, of course.
Yeah.
But also a celebration of this movie.
Yeah, that's sort of the goal, right? Is you want to have that balance, because it is. We did want to acknowledge his passing in a way that felt organic and felt like a part of the tapestry of the storytelling. But
boom. What? How where are we at? Where are we at? We are 37 seconds in, and now that's not a lie. There's no lie there, but just what he's saying. We wanted to. Let's rewind that.
Is you want to have that balance, because it is. We did want to acknowledge his passing in a way that felt organic and felt like a part of the tapestry of the storytelling.
We wanted to acknowledge his death in a way that felt organic and felt like a tapestry to the storytelling. we've acknowledged it for 2 years. For 2 years, we've acknowledged that Chadwick Boseman tragically passed away, bro. We have known this. And then to add that in a way that fits into the story. Why? For why? I don't get it.
But this movie isn't a tragedy, right?
What?
It's about sort of triumph through adversity, which I think is interesting and hopefully thematically something audiences will respond to. But you're always walking that line and you're hoping you're getting it right. And
What? What? What do you mean it's not a tragedy? I'm telling you, this man gives me my laughs. What do you mean it's not a tragedy? We watched 2 deaths in one film. 2. In hell. If Shuri wouldn't have had the powers of the Black Panther, 3 because you stabbed her too. And then we found out that Riri's daddy was dead. This film is not a tragedy. What is it? Like, bro, is it because it's not a masterpiece? It's not fun. It's not adventurous. Don't say it is, it ain't. It's not, bro. It's not that. Like, what is it? Like, to say it... Okay, come on, Nate.
And we wanted the emotion to shine through. We wanted people to also laugh and to see new worlds and to get excited by the action. And hopefully the movie does both.
And I think it absolutely accomplished all of those goals.
Who's talking?
Of course, worked with Ryan through the first film, and I would love to hear how
To swallow some lies.
The creative process and him personally, creatively, have evolved from the first film to this film.
Yeah, I think he's become even more collaborative. Part of it was the ambition of the film asked for it, right? And part of it was the circumstances in which we were making the film demanded it. Obviously,
demanded it.
Avoiding his absence is difficult and requires many hands. We also were making the movie during COVID, which, required Ryan to lean on his department heads more even than he usually does. And he's a collaborative person by nature. But to see him really become, I think, an even more successful leader was really impressive.
Absolutely. Now, a lot has been made of your somewhat infamous interview regarding recasting T'Challa.
Infamous, oh boy.
Obviously, this film goes a long way towards addressing those types of concerns.
Yeah.
Since that interview, there's been a lot of discourse about how have you felt like hearing just the fan opinions on both sides about that?
Honestly, I want to say I said what I said. No, I believe it. I mean,
hold on.
What I said is true, and I have had the benefit of knowing what the movie was going to be, and so I'm excited because finally people are going to be able to judge for themselves, and that's really ultimately the only litmus test is how does the audience respond.
Okay, hold on. Let's rewind because this is another interview where Nate Moore has been specifically asked about recast, where he has danced around the question.
On both sides about
that. Honestly, I want to say I said what I said. No, I believe it. I mean, what I said is true, and I have had the benefit of knowing what the movie was going to be, and so
that's just not the question. That's just simply not the question. The question simply is what his thoughts on the recast crowd, and he did answer that part. He said, "Well, I said what I said," and again, that gives further credence to that they are not, for people that keep saying, "Hold on," for people that keep tagging me in Winston Duke's interviews because they think that Winston Duke has some interconnected news or insight to what Marvel and the Marvel heads are going to be doing. You're listening to one of the Marvel heads. You're listening to one of the tops. I said what I said. And like Gray just said, I said what I said and I believe it. T'Challa ain't coming back. The only way you get him is through TJ. Nate Moore is telling you these things right now. It's jumbled up in lies, but he's telling you that he's giving you bits of truth in there with those lies. Let's finish listening to what he had to say there about that.
So I'm excited because finally people are going to be able to judge for themselves. And that's really ultimately the only litmus test is how does the audience respond? So all of the talkback is completely valid and fair, and now people are going to judge the movie on its own merits. And it could still bother people that we made the decision we made. I think hopefully some people find celebration in it and the reason for it.
Okay. I want to take it back just a little here, this part.
And that's really and I had the benefit of knowing what the movie was going to be. The only litmus test is how does the audience respond? So
he, what he just said there, the only litmus test is how does the audience respond? And this is why I said we have to keep hashtag recast T'Challa going. It can't stop. Because it has grown. There have been people that have let me give it an example. Let me give this example. I was at work yesterday, and people that hadn't gotten to see me since I got back to work Monday asked, "Hey, what did you think of Black Panther? What did you think of the film? I haven't gotten a chance to watch your video yet. What did you think?" And the short answer that I give people is, it wasn't for me. But then they say, what? What do you mean? Like, tell me more. Okay, so then I go into detail of why it wasn't for me. And the two women, and I live in Oklahoma. Unless I'm in the city, South Side, or I'm in Midwest City, somewhere over there, Dale City, it's not a lot. Like, there's black folks. Don't get me wrong, there are, but we're not the majority. So the women I'm talking to are white, and they're asking me blah blah blah. So I go into detail of why it wasn't for me. And see, when we're able to have the conversation, when you're open-minded, and two of her kids were so excited to see it, and blah blah blah, and they're still going to go see it. Because like I say, I'm not trying to deter anyone from going to see the film. Do what you feel you need to do. As I did. Remember? Everybody was saying, well, don't go see the film, and I kept saying, I have to go see it for myself. Remember? So I say the same thing to everyone. But after I told them, they both said, you know what? I never even looked at it or thought about it that way. I didn't... The way you just put it never crossed my mind. Newsflash. It doesn't cross most people's minds. And this is nothing to either one of them, but typically, as I've said before, as the white population, you sit in a place of privilege where you don't have to think about things like that. Where things like that never do cross your mind because of the place of privilege that you're able to sit from. That's what we mean. Well, I don't want to say we, I'll speak for myself. That's what I mean when I'm saying the things that you're taking off the screen with T'Challa, the representation. Like, if you can put your biases to the side and stop looking at recasts at face value and look at it for what we're really trying to say. Now, there are some recasters out there that are extreme with it a little bit. But if you stay on the principles of what E-Man wanted recast to be, then you'll know exactly what the recast crowd is saying. I was able to articulate and explain that to those two who thought to themselves again, wow, I never thought about it that way. So, the litmus test being what do fans think or whatever, if the negative backlash is the recast crowd is still hammering hard, and then you start to convert some people that either, one, didn't think of it that way, or two, saw the film and now they feel the same way, then that's more people to our cause. That's more voices. That's more hashtags. That's more pounds out there for Marvel to get the picture, since this is a litmus test. Unless that's another lie. You got to be careful with Nate. Then the test is going to be the negative backlash of T'Challa not being in the film.
And that's where the recast crowd has to come in stronger. That's where we've really got to be hammering recast out. Because if we ever want to see T'Challa back, if we don't want it to be a decade like Henry Cavill, then again, like Namor said, the litmus test is Wakanda Forever. Let's continue to see what else he's talking about.
All of the talkback is completely valid and fair, and now people are going to judge the movie on its own merits. And it could still bother people that we made the decision we made. I think hopefully some people find celebration in it and the reason for it. But I think we made the best version of the movie we knew how to.
I personally think it was perfectly done.
Thank you.
Oh, who's interviewing him? Okay. He said that he hopes people felt like it was a celebration. How many times have I sat in this chair on this channel and said, at what point do we go from mourning this man's death to celebrating his life, to celebrating his legacy, to celebrating what he wanted? If he thought that that was a celebration, brother, you missed. And you missed hard. That was not a celebration. I don't care how many people were in white, humiliating themselves at the theaters, dancing in front of the damn theater doors. No, that was not a celebration. That was depressing. That was triggering. And that's something I never want to feel in a Marvel film again. No, it wasn't a celebration. Then he says, at the end, we ultimately made the best movie we knew how to make. If you, as actors, as storytellers, as directors and producers, if that's the best story that you could come up with, I'm questioning why you're in the positions you're in. As Marvel fans, as you say you are, as storytellers, as you say you are, you've read these comics front to back, as you say you've had, Ryan Coogler, then you should know that there's an infinite amount of stories that you could have told besides morbidly inserting your friend's funeral into this film for the masses to pay for, participate in by dressing up, in viewing this morbid funeral. So no, Nate, that is not the only story that you guys could have told. You selfishly told that story because your emotions were wrapped up in your decisions, and it's the story you ultimately told. But it ain't the only story you could have told. Let's be real. And again, as storytellers, directors, and people in Hollywood in this business, if that's the best story, cut that shit out, bro. That's not the best story. Hell, you've given a better story to little Darcy, the little side chick that keeps showing up in Thor. She's gotten a better story.
Now, what makes Wakanda Forever the right film to end of Phase 4? The end of phases is a big conversation topic online.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I always look at Phase 4 as the phase that deals with loss and renewal, right? And if you look at even the shows,
trying to mix those two,
well,
bro. Come
No Way
on,
Home,
man.
Black Widow.
Come on, bro.
Ushering either people out of the
Bro, no, I'm sorry. I gotta pause it. Don't, again, come on, man. Come on. Are you trying to tell me that the same grief and or whatever type of emotion I felt in Black Widow or No Way Home is the same emotion I felt in... come on, bruh. Again, you're not talking to little kids. You're not talking to little kids. I appreciate you, Astra. I see that. Astra, I appreciate that. I'm gonna check that out because I'm dying to see that. That's wild. But again, you're not talking to little kids, bro. The pain or whatever, the emotion I felt in No Way Home, the tears I shed in No Way Home, because I didn't shed any tears in Black Widow. I knew she was dead. What? But the emotion and tears I shed in No Way Home, that was not the same emotional tears I shed in Wakanda Forever. And for you to sit on screen and try to insult my motherfucking intelligence and say that that's the same emotion, again, he plays the game. He knows what he's doing. His words are meticulous. They're calculated. Everything Nate Moore lies about, everything he talks about, when he gets out here, it's calculated. It has to be. We talked about that. This is show business. So no, bro. No.
universe for real or conceptually in the case of Peter Parker's alter identity. but also renewal, right? Sam Wilson becoming Captain America.
Did he just compare Peter Parker losing his identity to Wakanda losing T'Challa? I know I was about to take a drink. I know I didn't hear him just compare that.
Either people out of the universe for real or conceptually, in the case of Peter Parker's alter identity.
Oh my god! Oh my! No. Did he just compare? No.
But also renewal, right? Sam Wilson becoming Captain America. Kate Bishop taking on the mantle of the new Hawkeye. She-Hulk becoming, like, Moon Knight stepping forward. She-Hulk stepping forward. In this movie, a new Black Panther.
Oh, fuck.
Potentially new Force and Namor. Ironheart. Like, these are all new characters and ideas that are coming forth through this time of transition that I think is really powerful. And now Phase 5 gets to continue those stories forward in an exciting way.
Absolutely.
He didn't answer the question. He did not answer the question. All he did was make sorry-ass comparisons that do not compare to the tragedy. Again, the opening of Wakanda Forever just cast the tone of the film. All he did was make sorry-ass comparisons. He did not answer the question. And this is the shit when Nate Moore sits down that we always have to look forward to. Anytime Nate Moore talks BP, Wakanda Forever, or anything involving that franchise, you can always be sure we are in for some fun. Because this man just gets on here and says whatever. And he's saying whatever because, again, they're tiptoeing around that recast crowd. They're not wanting to say certain things, piss certain people off, do whatever. But it is wild. It is wild, man. Man, that is, that's good. That's good.
It's a great setup. We can't wait for the future phases.
Awesome.
Congratulations on this film.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah. So, let me see what some of you guys are talking about. What y'all think of Nate Moore? I'm sure I'm about to jump into all of that, but yeah, Nate Moore. Let's see. Oh, really? Ashra said no sound. People who gave it a negative review said it was... said they heard the sound from Chadwick Boseman intro. That's interesting. In my theater, that shit was silent. And it was a deafening silence. Like, it was so quiet, and I have never sat in a Marvel film that's that quiet. Through the entirety of the film. I've never sat in a Marvel film that is that quiet. When the Chadwick Boseman logo, Marvel Studios logo, popped up, silence. All it did was just play like it normally does, but no music. That's interesting that if that's true, some theaters had music. That's interesting. Let's see. I'm gonna start from here. Start here. Excuse me. A viewer said they heard the wind blowing. They might have, honestly. Maybe not. I don't know. I swear I remember ours was like dead silent. But maybe it was. I don't know. Like I said, after that opening scene, I was done, bro. I was out. I was out.
Like, literally, I started crying the minute she said, if you can allow me to save my brother from this disease, this unknown disease, and the doors open, they're panicking, his heart rate, I'm like, nah, And it, like I said, it wasn't just simply that T'Challa was gone. It was also the simple fact that, obviously, that you're burying a character I love. That's number 3 on it. Number 2 is, I'm literally, again, as I've said before, none of us were at Chadwick's death. None of us were there. None of us knew that Chadwick was sick. But if you go watch the opening of Wakanda Forever, you are literally witnessing Chadwick Boseman's death. So number 2 for me was, you made me literally shrug up feelings, emotions from 2 years ago for someone that I actually really did care for as an actor, and made me sit through his funeral. And then number 1 for me was the triggering aspects that it has on my real life. What you made me have to feel in a Marvel film that I never sat down for in the first place. Raymond said, for our intro, I heard like wind. Okay, so maybe the wind was in ours too. Maybe it was in ours too. But like I said, maybe at that point I was so completely done. I didn't give a fuck what I heard unless it was T'Challa's back. So maybe. Let's see. Be a Blessing said, this is what happens when people who are not true comic fans are allowed to run a franchise. That's why I like that Gunn is over there doing what he does. I mean, obviously Feige is a comic fan, but I know who you're talking about. You're talking about like Coogler, taking it back to where Coogler talking about he read the comics up and down, front to back. Obviously not, bruh. If you couldn't tell a better story than that, then no, you didn't. Not Again 90 said, poop literally falling out of his mouth. Bro, I'm telling you, it's one lie after another. Lie more. That's what he does. Lie more. That's literally what he does. Nate Moore got that politician way of speaking. Yes, he does. K. Dot, he does, bro. He's so calculated with it all, man. Raymond 2000 said, I miss the Russo brothers and Marcus McFeely. Yeah. Like I said, I still think they're pulling an Andrew Garfield. I think they're coming back. I think they are going to do some of the X-Men stuff that they said they want to do, and I think they're going to do Secret Wars, which they've said in several interviews that they do want to do. And we might do it like a little one day when we're talking about all this. When we're just hanging out and talking without any type of agenda, we're going to pull up some of those interviews where the Russo brothers have said both those things. They want X-Men, they want Secret Wars. So I think they're pulling an Andrew Garfield. They're the werewolf. Misa said, I couldn't be an interviewer because I'd be like, sorry, well, I'm telling you, I wouldn't. I couldn't be, because I'd say, lie to me again. So you're gonna lie? You're just gonna lie to me and look at me in the face while you lie, huh? Yeah, nah. D Stizzle said, again, as I've said before, Nate Moore is that friend that if you lose something, he has it, but he's helping you look for it. That's the type of friend Nate Moore is. If you lose something, he's gonna be like, "What? You lost it?" He's gonna look harder than you're looking for it. He's that type of friend. Raymond 2000 said, "Are we sure these producers and directors know the source material?" No, sir, we are not. Let them tell it they do, but no, sir, we are not. Gray said, "I told y'all he on something out here with a 10 o'clock shadow." Kellen said he's on Ambien. Havoc Unbound said he just showed his true colors. Of course. Yes, brother. Them colors been shining so bright so long. I'm so glad everybody's starting to see how bright Nate Moore truly is. And I'm not just talking about the brother's high yellow tone. Havoc Unbound, Ashera said, bruh, he's word vomiting. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, bro. He left that interview thinking he really said some shit, too. Not Again 90 said, this man is reaching bad, yo. Laugh my ass off. Someone tell Nate take a timeout, a major timeout. And I'm talking a timeout where you don't return type of timeout. Like one of those timeouts where it's like, oh, this is the third time we've had to talk about this timeout, so you got to go. Be a Blessing said, that's what he said. I can't with him. Like, bruh. Yes, so yeah, bro. All those comments right there is where he said. He tried to make a comparison to T'Challa's death to fucking Spider-Man losing his identity. Oh, shit. That's funny. Gray said, but in the Coogler cut, everybody dies. Okay, Asher, yeah, I saw that about the about Grace. Bro, I'm definitely watching that. Edward Stewart said, celebrate what? Yeah, I'm telling you. Grace said, must be on the Coogler cut. Bisa said, Shuri screaming and crying all over the place. Poor girl. It's sad, man. Had pulling that girl off her brother's casket, screaming over her mother's dead body while Namor standing in the window, fluttering in the air with his little wings, talking about your queen now. Yeah, she been through hell. Been through hell and didn't tell me shit about her as a character, besides randomly wanting to burn the world down. Where the fuck did that come from? Be a Blessing said, anything with Nate and Ryan's name on it won't get a dime from me after this mess. Hey, brother, I'm telling you, because it is a mess. Grace said, and according to Grace, 20% of the theater viewers were white, down from the 34% back in 2018. Grace is not... Grace has some wild shit that she says, but I've not seen that because I don't watch Grace. I don't watch Grace. Now, does Grace, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due as always. Does Grace have some very credible, great scoops sometimes that do hit the mark? Yeah, she does. But when it comes to listening to her talk about those scoops, I could give a damn. Because her takes are wild. And had I been in the stream, in the chat, or wherever, when she said BP1 was like Roots, oh yeah, they would have blocked me. They'd have blocked me. Because I'd have been in the chat raising hell. BP1 is like Roots. Why are you even speaking on Roots? And where the fuck do you get that comparison? Let's go back down here. We got Stamina MC that said Grace is good for facts / insider gossip, horrendous for a yeah, bro, yeah. Misa said, why did that not go viral? That's what I was saying. That's why I was like, damn, she still has a channel, and she said that shit. Ashra said, no, she doesn't, Darius. Her scoops are BS and flaky. Honestly, her scoops are not, though, because she her scoops are sometimes in line with scoopers like Casey Walsh or even My Time to Shine Hello sometimes. Like, I'm not saying the sis hits the mark all the time, but her scoops sometimes do be on mark with other credible insiders. Raymond said, Grace needs Black Jesus just like Ryan and Nate and Ezra. Is he still on the run? I don't know. I have not... It's been quiet. I have not heard anything from them. So, let's see. Raymond 2000 also said, how is T'Challa dying even similar to Peter losing his identity? It's not. Nate was just rambling. It's not. Nate's just out there Nating. Nate's just Nating. D Stizzle said, I wouldn't say Kevin is a comic fan either. He just read them from research on Sony Fox MCU films. See, that one I don't know, because the only reason I say that is just because listening to and the only reason I say this, I'm like Hugh Jackman. What would Hugh Jackman gain, or other actors and actresses that have spoken on Kevin Feige's knowledge of Marvel Comics, not just Marvel Comics, DC, and not just DC, out of both of those, his first love is Star Wars. So I don't know why actors or actresses, what they would gain from lying, saying that, oh, he's not, because, Hugh Jackman said, if Kevin Feige's a suit, then he's a suit with a cape, because this man really cares and knows his stuff. So I don't know, because even when he brought Hugh in that same interview, Hugh Jackman said, while on set for X-Men, Feige was telling him, you need to read this comic. You got to read this one. You need to know this. You need to know that. If you're really going to be this character, this is the things you got to do. But I forget the director's name that was directing the original X-Men stuff with Fox. Didn't want them reading the comics or any source material because he wanted it to be, excuse me. He wanted it to be his version of what he wanted it to be, of what we got. So Hugh Jackman said Feige would like slip him comics to read and things like that, because I guess there was not allowed on set any type of X-Men source material stuff. So I don't know. I would say Feige might actually know his shit. Executive Judge said, so basically the Namor of the situation will basically just steal your most prized possession. Yes, Namor is now going to take that spot of BP. That's what they're going to do with that. Neymar instead of Namor from Edward Stewart. Planet Poppy said Lie Moore and Ryan Perry. Yep, Lie Moore and Ryan Perry just out there. Nate Moore just Nating and Ryan just out there killing. Misa said they actually showed him dying, y'all. Are we talking about T'Challa in that moment? Raymond 2000 said, I literally felt like I was watching something too personal. I didn't want to see that. Yeah, nah, bro. Like I said, I wonder what Simone felt like watching that shit. Like, she had to watch Chadwick actually deteriorate. So I wonder how she felt watching. Because, let Ryan tell it. She gave creative insight, I guess, on things for the film. Was that one of the creative insights she gave? I don't think so. I don't know, but I would assume not. I'd hope not. Shit. I'd hope not. But once we see her interview with Whoopi Goldberg on the 2020 special, that'll tell us more. I believe it might tell us more. I don't think they're about to go in real hard on, I don't even think they're going to ask any recast questions or anything like that, because it's not about that. It's about honoring Chadwick Boseman. The thing that Marvel attempted to do. It's still their company, ABC, is doing it. They still own... That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, why even have this movie? Do shit like that. Do those specials. Like, why even have... Anyway. Like Raymond just said, how'd the family sit through this? Yeah. Ashra said the 3D printer was useless, and with the giant touchy-feely hologram, yeah, it was the whole... That whole thing, like I said, that whole fucking first scene. Ashra said oh, that's okay, so we're back at the wind. Okay, so I'll go back down to the bottom there. No, Misa, they did not show it. They did not show him actually dying, but so in that scene, he's in his throne room. He's in not his throne room, he's in his bedroom, the king's room, and they're in Shuri's lab, and they're panicking, going around, blah, blah, blah. You hear T'Challa's heart rate, you hear Greedo, which is Shuri's AI, talking to her, and he's saying, the king's heart rate is dropping, and blah, blah, blah. Scientists are running around the lab, panicking. She's trying to recreate the herb, but then you see Queen Ramonda walk out, and she has this look on her face, obviously. And then by this time, the heartbeat has stopped for a few seconds. So if you're not paying attention to that, like the heartbeat part, and just paying attention to what Siri's saying, you miss it. But the heartbeat does stop, and you don't hear it. And then Shuri asks, after she sees Queen Ramonda's face, Greedo, what's my brother's heart rate? And then Queen Ramonda answers and says, your brother is now with the ancestors. So they don't show it. But that whole thing is so... I'm telling you, me talking about it doesn't do it justice of how disgusting it is what we actually watch. D. Stizzle said, yep, director Brian Singer didn't want the cast reading any comics. Yeah, Brian Singer. That's who it was. Then we've got... Yep, Gray said Brian Singer... Yep, Kevin Feige snuck them in. Raymond 2000 said Kevin Feige is a nerd. He's a nerd. He's been wearing the same outfit since 2014. And with that same pose, I'm telling y'all, at the premieres, wherever Kevin Feige is, he's always got that same pose where he'll stand like this and he'll lean forward every now. That same pose, bro. Feige has not changed. That is so funny. Kitty Pierce said, y'all hit that like button for good luck and a good hairline. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Hit that like button. Astra said, Ezra on the run. Still no word on the movie outing. No, it's still coming. It's coming. But will they be present in the promotion for the film? I highly doubt it. In no world does David Zaslav or what Peter Safran and James Gunn are trying to do with this new regime of DC let them touch any type of press work for this film.
Because again, if I'm an interviewer, be damned what you told me not to ask. The hottest question that every interviewer is going to want to ask is, what the fuck were you doing in Hawaii? What the fuck were you doing harassing children, grooming children, breaking into homes, threatening to set couples on fire, holding people hostage? Like that, no one's going to ask anything about the Flash film if they see them on the red carpet. So the movie's still coming out, but we've not heard anything from them. Let's see. Misa said, I'm disappointed they're letting the movie come out. You know, there are a lot of people that like us. Let me put it that way. There are people like us that are in these spaces, and we've seen, we've talked about the headlines. We've talked about Miller and their antics for months, almost for a year, a whole year, honestly. So us in these spaces, we do personally know. But the average viewer that's going to go watch the Flash film, that's just invested in the DCU, but not invested in the behind-the-scenes stuff with the actors or things like that, they have no idea what's going on. They just know that that's dude from Perks of a Wallflower or Perks of Being a Wallflower and Fantastic Beast, and I like him. They might not even know that he goes by them, they. All they know is they play the Flash. I'm going to go watch it. Bada boom, bada bing. That's it for me. And plus, with the studio paying $200,000, or $200,000, spending $200 million on the film, yeah, they're not wanting to cancel that. They're not wanting to cancel that. But I feel you. I definitely feel what you're saying there. Daniel Ben said the Black Panther in Wakanda, the Black Panther in Wakanda, supposed to be a superhero franchise, not Black Game of Thrones. Yeah. Black Game of Thrones. Misa said, talk about recast. Not Again 90 said, Ezra Miller out here being a whole villain. Exactly. Choking fans. Threatening to burn fans. Throwing a chair at a girl in a karaoke bar for singing karaoke. Yeah. Ashra said, so do you think the movie goes HBO then theatrical since there's not in a peep of? Do I think the movie's going to go to HBO then theatrical? No. I definitely think it's going theatrical then HBO. Once it's done its theatrical days then it's going to come in and it's going to be on HBO Max. Now, again, I'm telling you, although the negative things that we all know about Miller are going on, the viewings that they've shown for The Flash thus far have not been negative. Every person that has come out that has been in that group, select few that have gotten to see the finished product, has all said this film is one of DC's best films within their current timeline of franchise. Their current canon timeline. I've heard there's a lot that goes on. I've even heard Henry Cavill, now is showing up. Not in like playing a role, but I think it's like a post-credit scene that Henry Cavill shows up in. I don't know. I need to see more or hear more. When does it come out? Late 2023, I believe, or is it early 2023 now? I don't remember. Gray said, Feige killed me at the premieres. They tried to interview Feige and he was like, ain't y'all heard? Yeah, bruh. I posted that shit on Twitter. Now you're about to make me have to go to it. I posted that shit on Twitter. That is one of the funniest things that I saw Feige do, bro. That was because he was done at that point. He did not want to be there. He was like, why are y'all answering me dumbass questions you've had answers to?
Back, you are a producer and you head up Marvel Studios. So what can you tell us about what we're diving into? How are we going to expand on the world of Wakanda this go around?
Who have you spoken to so far today? A lot of people, right? So you got, my guess is you've got the scoops.
back, you are a producer and you had a
He said, who have you
what can you tell
spoken
us
to?
about what we're diving into? How are we going to expand on the world of Wakanda this go around?
Who have you spoken to so far today? A lot of people, right?
Dude said, well, we've had... Oh, God, that's funny. Oh, that is so funny. Oh, shit, that's funny. Yeah. Then we got Be a Blessing, Raymond 2000 said Ezra Miller is the next villain in BP3. Might be. That might be where they're on the run to. Edward Stewart said, well, if he knows his stuff, why did he kill off T'Challa? That is the $1 million question. If he knows his stuff, why did he greenlight killing off T'Challa? We kind of talked about that here too. There's a reason Nate Moore ushered in BP. There's a reason that, obviously Ryan Coogler, obviously we want black individuals handling black, our black characters, handling our black stories. But Nate Moore and Coogler are just the tokens here. They didn't get anyone. That's what I was saying about Angela Bassett yesterday. Angela Bassett has been in this business a long time. She's a strong black woman. Not only that, she's black royalty for me, I'll say, when it comes to actors and actresses within our community. And not only that, she is married to an intelligent black man. If you don't think that they know what that character means, if you don't think that's why she objected to, why are you killing my character? What are you doing, Ryan? Those are the reasons there. Because she understands, she knows. So it's like, it's interesting though, with the Kevin Feige thing. So we kind of had that conversation like that because it's like, could it be one of those situations where Feige was like, I don't know if I want to get involved with this. I'll let them handle how they handle their character, their community's fantasy hero, superhero. I don't know. That could just be, whatever. But that is something we've all talked about here is that, was that one of the things that Feige just didn't want to touch because of those reasons? I mean, I don't know. DJ F and Nice said, how did Ezra go off the deep end? Oh, I don't know. It has to be drugs, something. I have no clue. Remember with Dakota Iron Eyes, he was telling, or they were telling her parents that their union is going to bring forth, correct me if I'm wrong, a Native American apocalypse or something like that. I'm telling you, some off the wall weird shit. Raymond 2000 said, if he knew his stuff, he'd know Okoye wasn't a Midnight Angel. It was Anika and Io. Well, see, are we talking Nate Moore and Ryan? Because that's on them. Daniel Ben said, if T'Challa was present in the MCU with that character, the Cassie be a good support character to add to the BP franchise. I mean, any characters that we've seen in the BP franchise would be good to add in the BP franchise, to expand the BP franchise, to expand the world of Wakanda. I mean, any of those characters with T'Challa still being present would be great to add in. But, these are great. These are great. I love having these conversations, but when we're talking, could they do this or could they do that? They could do anything. Whenever we have conversations of could they, would they, or would you ever, or would they ever, yeah, they could, but will they ever? No, I doubt it. So it's like at this point, these are shoulda, coulda, wouldas, ifs and ands, because until you give me some type of semblance that T'Challa's coming back, they could do anything. Raymond 2000 said, if he knew the source material, he'd know T'Challa was just as smart as Shuri. D. Stizzle said Game of Thrones makes more sense with Inhumans over Wakanda. DJ FNI said actors would kill to be the Flash. Yep, just like they would kill to be T'Challa too. For Alfonso that says no black actors are looking to be T'Challa. Daniel Ben said a young T'Challa prequel on T'Challa's experience in college, learning different sets of martial arts and meeting young Monica Lynn, and then become BP at the end of the series. Like I said, lots of... I'm for any of that, but yeah. Not Again 90. Kevin knew that attitude fast as fuck. I'm telling you. Feige is slick wild. Stamina MC said. Mesa said Kevin Feige is the man for real. I mean, you guys know, for those of you that have really been here that long time, know that I adore Feige. I think that what he does is great, and what he's trying to do with the MCU is also great. Outside of I wish he would step in as the president and make decisions in regards to T'Challa, but you know. D Stizzle said those red carpet interviews are annoying. Yeah, they really are. That's why he's like, bruh, like, I know you've asked other people this question, so why are you asking me? What did they tell you? Raymond 2000 said if he knew source material, he knows Shuri becomes the griot or a goddess. To be honest, I don't know the difference. You know, I would encourage everybody to go see Be Real with D-Real and Theo on that. They had a very great conversation on how Shuri is a griot and not a goddess, and they articulated it and told it very well. So I would definitely encourage everybody to go over to that channel. I think it's on D-Real's channel, and go look at the video that they discussed on that. Mesa said for what... Well, that Astra and her having a conversation. Daniel Ben said, I mean, Feige back in 2010, before Avengers, had said Black Panther was one of the characters he wanted to introduce. He did. Raymond 2000 said, I'm talking both of them. You're talking Kevin and Nate, or Ryan and Nate? Be a blessing. Angela Bassett is an OG. They should have listened to her. Yep. I mean, she is an OG. Let's think about it. She played Marie Laveau in AHS, American Horror Story, Waiting to Exhale, Tina Turner, Katherine Jackson, Queen Ramonda. I forget QB's mama's name. Or not QB's mama's name. Yeah, she plays. Isn't it QB's mama's that she plays in Boys in the Hood? And she still looks that damn good, like she did back then. Like she's royalty, honestly. Dan the Man said heard Black Panther game by EA supposed to kill off T'Challa too. If that's true, then hopefully they're adapting King of the Dead. Well, we know he's not in the game that Captain America, his grandfather, the U.S. soldier, and the Dora are going to be in. He's not in that game. He's not on Avengers Campus anymore. It's Shuri now. So they are slowly, if that's true, because I've also seen that. I've been tagged in things about that. If that is true, then yeah, they are slowly trying to erase the character. CJ said, if you let Ryan create another Black Panther movie, he's going to bring down the shield and nuke Wakanda to finish the job. I honestly, bro, like, that's what I'm saying. Oh, Ryan and Nathaniel. Yeah. For sure, those two. Ryan and Nathaniel. Mesa said, that's so childish. People are allowed to have opinions. They're critics. Yeah. Astra said they called the AI griot, but that's Shuri's status as a historian. Yeah, that's what D-Real was talking about. Do you think that that's cherry picking, or is it going to be leading to something? And I, you know, when it comes to the BP franchise right now, I don't even know what to guess what's leading to what. The only thing I know that they're absolutely doing is propping little TJ to take over this franchise. But anything else, I don't know. And then I guess the next question is, do I care? I don't know if I even care. Like, I don't even know. I don't care. I don't. Unless T'Challa's there, like, what are you... What's the incentive to put me in the seat? Because if it's anything playing off of Wakanda Forever, pass. And I'm not just talking about the opening scene. I'm talking about the film in its entirety. Pass. I don't want to see more Wakanda films like that. CJ said T'Chaka, N'Jobu, Killmonger, Zuri, T'Challa, and Queen Ramonda all gone. Like she said, queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Now I am too. D Stizzle said 2 big BP games are in development without T'Challa. They're doing this to match the MCU. And that's what I've heard. I've heard people even start to speculate, saying that the comics are going to eventually follow that line. I mean, look, Darcy is in the new Scarlet Witch comics. I don't know if anybody saw that, but Darcy's in the new Scarlet Witch comics. So who's to say that they don't start adapting the comics to erase T'Challa as well? D Stizzle said MCU synergy and all that. Gray said the EA game's supposed to be about a new Black Panther, a male or female after the death of Black Panther. Ain't that some bullshit? Boy. Man, okay. Bro, okay. I've been tagged and stuff for it, but I didn't know that part of it. Dan the Man said, to be fair, though, the Cap and BP game is supposed to take... Yeah, that is true. That is true. To be fair, that is very true. Ashra said they had Shuri... the tiny tusk earrings. Shuri wears them as the griot. Why is there others? Why is there other for trivia? Listen, again, like I said, I don't know, bro. They can put her in whatever. I mean, your motivation to get me to see BP3 would be the events of BP2 or whatever. And I'm not interested in your storytelling of Wakanda or this franchise moving past Wakanda forever unless T'Challa's in it. So you can make Shuri whatever the fuck you want to make her. I don't care. I really don't. Dan the Man said, oh no, Darcy. Raymond 2000 said, like I said, in the next year, expect a storyline depicting the death of T'Challa. Yeah. Astra said the comics has been adapting the MCU since 2016. That's true, they have. But as I just said, I'm just saying we're going to start seeing the adaptation of T'Challa's death as well. Raymond 2000 said, for the first time in 50 plus years of existing, T'Challa will be an ancestor, and it's disgusting. That's why we fight for recast, but people don't get it, and they won't. J. Rob said T'Challa's role is being reduced in the comics. Edward Stewart said there is no way in the comic books that Shuri would be or would have spared the life of Namor after causing Ramona's death. Yep. Raymond 2000 said, and these TikTokers cussing out E-Man and calling him names and misogynistic is starting to piss me off. I hate he has to go through this. I feel bad for him too. Dan the Man said, Winston Duke thinks Marvel will bring back T'Challa down the line. Yeah, I've been tagged in that interview. Here's the thing though, when these come to these actors, and like I said earlier, unless it's Kevin Feige, Victoria Alonso, Nate Moore, or Ryan Coogler getting on in some interview saying, oh yes, we're bringing him back, I don't care what Winston Duke has to say. Winston Duke is not interconnected with the Marvel heads and what's going on. We just watched 2 interviews of what Nate Moore said. He was saying in those interviews without saying, bro, I hear y'all, his words, we block that out though. Like we have to block that out so we can tell the story we want to tell. And the story that they want to tell is the absence of T'Challa. So Winston Duke can say whatever he wants to say in interviews, but I'm telling you, I don't think that's it. Astra said, Darius, it's Shuri. There's an H, but you keep saying Shuri. Yeah, I'd call her Shuri though. Like, I mean, it's Shuri. Don't carry. I don't. Unless it's T'Challa. Unless it's his story. And that's not me being misogynistic. I simply don't care. Her runs, her 12, again, did anybody answer me? Is it 12 issues or 16? I thought it was 12. Her 12 or 16 issues, until T'Challa, like, no, I don't care. I just don't. I thought so, it's 12. I don't care. Dan the Man said, oh, you talking about the interview he had with E-Man? No, it's actually a different interview. One of the interviews he did was here. I'll post one of them here. You can watch that one. Where's the link to the other dudes? Is it in the history? Hold on, I'll give you this link too. So there's that one, and then there's this one. But this is the one, really. So, yeah, like I said, that's one of the things that's one of the things that I really wanted to, and we got to get into the Namor stuff, which I wanted to talk about too. So I'm glad we got to get into that stuff. Of course, the Namor stuff. We are going to talk about Winston Duke's interview. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it when the rest of the cast is here and we're all sitting down to be able to discuss with you guys, share their thoughts on it. And you guys have kind of heard my thoughts, but get some more of their thoughts and some more of ours and things like that. But, as of now, that is where I stand with it. You guys know where I stand with Recast. You guys know I'm always going to get on here and try to keep it as real as I can in regards to Recast. I don't care what people on Twitter are saying. I don't care that people come in the comments and say move on, or you're gatekeeping a character. How am I gatekeeping? But you're gatekeeping a character, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. Like I'm on my channel, on my platform, with my voice. I'm going to say what I want, when I want, and how I want. So, it's going to be Recast over here at Planet Fanatics until T'Challa's back on the screen. Until T'Challa's back on the screen, as I've said before. BP3, BP4, 5, 6, whatever on is a placeholder until T'Challa's back on the screen. I'm not talking TJ. And until then, I don't care what your stories are. I don't care who you progress. I don't care what you're. I don't care what. I don't care the villain. I don't care how it intertwines. I won't see it. It'll be the one I miss. And then if something major happens to have some major ramifications for the MCU, well, somebody will have to clue me in. But unless T'Challa's there, I had to see the film for myself before I could accurately say no T'Challa, no ticket. I won't buy your ticket for BP3 until you show me that T'Challa's back. The little hints you're throwing at Shuri being agreed, I don't care. The stuff you're showing with little TJ, I don't care. Until T'Challa's back on the screen, I won't be going to see anything else Black Panther franchise related within the MCU. And that's just my feelings on it now. But, like I said, wanted to talk about that with you guys, for sure. Wanted to get into some of the things with Namor. And Ashra said it is 16 to 20 issues. Shuri has had other solo issues, but the writing is fluff. See, I've read her 12. And maybe that's why I didn't seek out the other 16 to 20. Maybe I was done. So, I'm just, that's where I am on it. That is kind of the bottom that we reached there on the comments. I appreciate everybody being here as always. We will be live tomorrow. I will be live with another creator, John, on Twitter. So I'll be live with him tomorrow. It'll be myself, and I'm gonna try to get Q in here. It'll be myself and Q. That one will be streamed same time tomorrow, 7:30 Central Standard Time. We're going to be here. The topics that we're going to be talking about tomorrow is just going to be how the MCU, one of the topics he wants to talk about, because he's a blogger. He has written different blogs on some of these topics here, and one of the topics is going to be how the MCU can move forward without T'Challa, and ways that they can bring him back if possible. Like all the ifs and ands that we've been talking about, the ifs, ands, and shoulda, coulda, wouldas. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. It's been, as always, it's always fun. It's always interesting having these conversations with you guys and seeing you guys' perspectives on things. As always, appreciate everybody being here. Gray, Kenny, Ashra, Daniel, DeJinx, D Stizzle, Dan the Man, Edward, Misa, Cornelius, who was here earlier, CJ, Raymond, Miss Makiba, she was here earlier. Be a Blessing. Stamina, always calling in from London. We appreciate you, bro. DJ F and Nice, we appreciate you being here. Raymond, always here, bro. We appreciate you. Edward Stewart, appreciate you being here. Not Again 90, appreciate you being here, bro. Who else am I missing? J Rob, we appreciate you being here. I'm missing anybody. Arc SS4, appreciate you being here. Executive Judge, we appreciate you being here, bro. Like all of you guys staying and sticking around, because for it to just be myself, that was pretty cool. We maintained a solid, constant flow in the chat. We've maintained a solid group of viewers. We had some great questions, had some great conversations, had some hella good laughs. K-Dot, we appreciate you being over here. As I've said before, go check out my guys' channel. They do great work over there. Check out Spoiler King's channel as well. D-Real with B-Real, or B-Real with D-Real was in here earlier. Go check out his channel. I know most of you guys have already subscribed over there, but check out his channel. Check out Theo B. Check out Chillmonger. Check out Back of the Bus with Marcus and John. All of our guys that are E-Man. Everybody knows E-Man. Check out all those guys. And I know I'm missing so many people, but check out a lot of those guys. Got a Man of Culture. Appreciate you being here. Let me see. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, I don't want to pronounce that wrong. Osmond Iyyi Iwika. Appreciate you being here. I'm so sorry. They can tell you I'm terrible with names. Planet Poppy. Appreciate you being here. D-Stizzle, did I say you? I think I did. Appreciate you being here as always. Let me see. Justin Mercado, appreciate you being here. Emperor DXD, appreciate you being here. Let's see. And that's as far as it's letting me go up. So if I missed anybody, I apologize. But we appreciate you guys so very much. This was been such a fun stream for me. I love when the cast is here. I really do. But I also love the time that I personally get to spend with you guys. It's always a good time. I like the stream I did where it was just me, where you guys were asking me personal questions and things like that. I want to do streams like that because I want you guys. Again, I'm gonna bring T'Challa in here the next time so you guys can meet T'Challa. You can see how fucking crazy he is. But let you guys meet T'Challa and things like that. But it was a good stream. It was fun. It was good. The Jinx said, I found this channel a few days ago and I've been following every day since. Great host and discussions. Brother, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And I see my guy, Spoiler Kings. Appreciate the shout out. Thanks for another great stream. And always recast T'Challa. Yes, brother. Appreciate you being here. And it's nothing, bro. Like, you guys do great work, honestly. The stream that I got the privilege of doing with you guys on Chillmonger. That's why I love doing streams like that, because I'm able to connect and make I love building bridges with like-minded people. And, like, the more of us that band together, like Theo was saying on Twitter, our voices are stronger together. And when we're band together and we're honestly, like I said, the recast stream I'm wanting to do with a lot of different creators, including you guys, that will be dope. That is a lot of black excellence, a lot of black power, a lot of strong voices, a lot of very opinionated people in one stream, like-minded, talking about what we love. So no, I appreciate you guys, bro, for real. So, like I said, appreciate everybody being here. 47 likes, 50 viewers. Let's get that. Can we get that to 50? Is that possible? Or is that possible? Can we get that to 50? Either way, appreciate you guys being here. I will be back tomorrow. Q should be with me, and we'll be back in, and we'll be talking with you guys then. So, as I always say, like, subscribe, share, and you know what? Wait a minute, before we go, I'm sorry. Y'all are going to have to end this stream with no music because I got a copyright claim. I got a copyright claim, and I know damn well it wasn't from D Sharp because, well, it was, but it wasn't from him personally. And the reason I say that is because I use D Sharp in all of our background segmented videos. He's our outro music in our segmented videos. Something I played yesterday, I guess, was too damn close to the original, and they hit me with a copyright claim. So y'all going out in silence on this one. I ain't getting hit with another copyright claim. As I always say, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Love you guys so very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I wasn't playing about that silence.